Okay, we'll see about that.
Yo, what the heck is going on, Kind of Funny Best Friends? It's Mike and
Parris.
Come on, homie.
Yeah, man.
We're back together. Parris? Parris, what's going on, big dog? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Excuse me, clear my throat.
Yeah, you've had a big day today.
Yeah.
Games Daily and the Xcast.
Yep.
Now you're streaming with me. They said, let's put Parris to work if he's coming out to hang out.
That's right, and that's what I want, man.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Parris, you know, I know it's a gameplay stream, and of course, we want to welcome in the chat on both YouTube and Twitch. I'm happy to be back at work. You're in the studio. Of course, we're happy all of you are tuning in and hanging out with us. We're going to just have some fun, chopping it up. I also have some games for us. Of course, you can see NBA 2K's on the screen. 2K season is back.
Yep.
Madden is back. NCAA football is here. Sports season is back, Parris.
Yes.
So you and I will talk some sports. But I named the title of the stream, Mike and Parris Chop It Up About Life, Video Games, and More. Because, you know, I don't get much time to spend with you now that we don't do the Xcast. So I thought we'd chop about everything, you know?
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it.
We've kind of caught up on some things, but how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Anything new, anything decent in your life, anything good that we should talk about?
I mean, now that, you know, the world's semi-normal again, and now there's events and things, so I've been traveling a lot. Like, I was in PAX. I was in Seattle for, like, 4 days last week.
How was it? Tell me all about it.
It was good, man. It was good. I hadn't, you know, I had been in Seattle last year for something else, but it was good to go to a gaming convention again. I hadn't been to one of those in a while.
Yeah.
Where it's just everybody's there. Everybody's just happy and smiling and hugging, and it was good, man.
Feels good, right?
Yeah,
it was
definitely.
really cool. Of course, Kind of Funny Best Friends, if you have some questions for me and Parris, some topics you want to talk about, throw them in the chat. But of course, hello to Cooper, Taylor, Evermore over in the YouTube side of things, Rob Games, So Stoned, and more on the Twitch side of things. But yeah, that was one thing I noticed when we went to PAX East, me and Blessing. It was cool to be around that atmosphere again of there's a bunch of booths with developers who are happy to be showing their games. There's panels packed with people that are excited to see their favorite personalities, to talk with the game devs. Like when I did Obsidian and Grounded, it was just like, it felt good to be back in that situation.
Yeah, for
again.
sure, man.
And of course, Blessing as well with CD Projekt Red. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And then of course, we just got done with Gamescast talking about Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And so yeah, Call of Duty Next was awesome to see all those kids happy to be out and about. It's crazy, Parris. They've been doing that now for 3 years. And so most of the kids I talked to, it was either their first time or they had been there on all the other ones.
Right.
And I would ask of like, well, what do you think about this one compared to last year? They said, oh, they've gone above and beyond. Like last year, it was great being in LA and it was a lot of fun, but like they just put us in a giant warehouse and they made the best of it. This now being in the museum and like decked out, they went so far.
Oh yeah, you could tell that just on the screen. Now years ago, I can't even remember what year this was, but it was whenever they introduced Nuketown.
Yeah.
And they, in LA, literally had a real Nuketown.
How cool.
I mean, like Robert Bowling was still doing Call of Duty stuff. That's how long ago it was. And yeah, man, they go all out for Call of Duty things. Now, I've been to some where it's been pretty bare bones. It was like, hey, let's just put us all in a room and we're playing multiplayer.
Yeah, of course.
And then that's it. And then you have things like you just did this week or last week was just amazing.
Yeah.
To see.
Wild stuff, right?
And I was so happy for you. Like I was watching, I had the official stream and I had the Kind of Funny stream kind of both going at the same time because I wanted to see your energy doing it, right? And then when you would pop up on the main side as well.
I gotta watch that
awesome.
back because I haven't seen that yet. But yeah, it was one of the coolest experiences ever, Parris. It's one of those of like, it's been cool with you, me, and Gary as a family, getting to talk about the cool stories you guys have gone through. And you know, as the world starts to open up, I've started to go to some of my own, but this is definitely the peak for me as of right now. Like that was the
yeah. That's definitely a bucket list memory item. And again, all the crazy stuff you were just talking about on Gamescast. I mean, that's, hey man.
Come on.
I'm so happy for you.
Come on, Parris. Yeah. And so tell me about PAX. What did you do at PAX? What did you see? What did you like? What did you not like?
So I purposely wanted to just go as I'm just a fan.
Yeah.
I wasn't going there to take a bunch of appointments and do hands-on stuff. I wanted to just go see people I haven't seen in a long time and just hang out and vibe. The only real appointment I did was Nintendo because it was hey, Nintendo emailing me. I'm gonna go do that one, right? But other than that, it was just checking out the show floor, sat in on a couple panels. I missed Greg's panel with Civ 7, but like I did the Phil Spencer story time. You know, I'm sitting there, you know, me and Britt right up front, so having fun with that. Andrea knocked it out of the park, hosting that. You know, I went to like the LG booth, was kind of, because like they're looking to getting into the cloud streaming as well.
Oh, okay.
WebOS.
Similar to what we've seen with Samsung.
Samsung,
yeah,
exactly. They're not there yet. They got work to do compared to what Samsung's already done with the gaming hub. They haven't. Right now, GeForce Now and Amazon Luna is on there.
Okay.
Kind of wink, wink. Amazon Xbox is going to be on there, you know, sooner rather than later. But they still got some work to do as far as that goes.
Okay. But dope to see LG in the mix, right?
Yeah, that's just the natural progression.
Like
of course,
that. Yeah,
you need to get a big manufacturer in there as well. Did that. The Monster Hunter line was obnoxious.
Oh, they got to play the new Monster Hunter.
Yeah. So again,
wow.
I didn't have an appointment, so I didn't play it because the line was just too long. I was like, I'm not doing all that. Path of Exile was there. Checking that out.
Nice.
I went to, this wasn't at PAX, but I went to the Mix, which was all a bunch of these indie games.
Yeah.
And Blessing even said the name. I keep forgetting that. I believe it's called Croak, but it's like you're a frog and it's like a platformer.
Oh, okay.
Really, that was a lot of fun to play. That was really cool to check out. But man, it was just the people, and I'll just say, like, from a kind of funny standpoint, so many people came up to me and just wanted to say, hey, I'm a kind of funny best friend. Love the content, miss the Xcast, you know, stuff like that.
Shout out.
Like I told you before, I saw a couple people wearing Xcast shirts.
So cool.
That was cool. But everybody was just very nice, man.
I love that. I love that everybody's happy to be back. Want to give a shout out right now to the chat. My man Tay Gatto is in here.
Yeah.
Chat, just so you know, we got NBA 2K up and running. Shout out to the 2K group that sent me the review code. We will play it sometime today, but shout out, we'll have 2K in the background. Do you notice Alex Caruso on the OKC Thunder?
Right. Ball Mamba.
Okay, check it out, man. I like that. And then, of course, we got your Minnesota Timberwolves up there. So shout out to Tay Gatto. We'll just be talking over the game for a little bit. I'm excited this year, just to switch to 2K really quick, to create the My Player and see what bad nickname they gave.
Yeah.
Do you remember all the bad Frequency they called me one year. They just gave up at one point and they just start calling us MP. Yeah. And it's like, come on now. We got to figure out a better solution to all of this. It's so fun. Or do you remember the year recently when they had Spike Lee do the campaign and you're like, okay, well, this can't be real. And like, yeah, Spike Lee was on the track and stuff. How crazy was that, man? I love that. And so, yeah, I'm glad that you're back from PAX. You're here in San Francisco. Can you talk about why you're here? Can't talk about why you're here. I like that, but you're here. That's all that matters.
I'm here.
Andy is out on location, so I miss my best friend, Andy. That's great. I love having him out there. That's good. Blessing and Roger went to Japan.
Which, by the way, let me just talk about this as a whole. So there was a moment last week.
Yeah.
You're at Call of Duty next, killing it. You got Roger and Bless with Hideo Kojima.
Across the globe.
Other side of the freaking planet, right? Obviously, everything's still going on here at the studio, the content they're putting out. And it was like, I'd even tweeted it. You know what it was? Just a little bit of inside baseball, good information. Because, you know, we got a Slack going, right? So even though I'm not here every day, I can kind of see what's going on. So I'm looking at the Slack because I didn't even realize why Roger and Bless were in Japan. I just knew they were going.
Oh, shit. Okay,
I didn't know. So I saw it in the Slack first, and I go, holy shit, what? And then you're doing that, and I think I even tweeted it out. I go, I'm a fly on the wall that gets to see what an 11-person small business gets to do. It's like you guys are constantly punching above your weight, so to speak, but in a good way, right?
Cool. Yeah.
It is amazing what this group of people is able to accomplish, the things that you're able to do for being an 11-person small business. You know what I mean? It's impressive, and the fact that I get to, look behind the scenes every now and again and see what's going on is
thanks to the
awesome.
audience for helping making that dream a reality. And yeah, Parris, you're so right. It was cool being at COD Next because no one knew or understood what I was trying to say to him, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're a content creator. I was like, well, we straddled this line of like, it was built off of press and media.
Yeah.
But now that we've become an 11-person small business and we do so much, we are influencers, we are content creators. So it's like, it's a different vibe. And they were all really blown away when you tell them the true story of like 4 dudes left IG, left the company homes, and went off on their own and back to themselves, and the audience supported them and got to where it is now. It's like the people who get it look at you and go, that's an unbelievable story. And you're like, it's a beautiful story.
No, it really is. I mean, like we just talking, we just vibing out. So it's like for me, and I've told this story before, it's like, I've known about Greg and Tim and Nick and obviously all the IGN, all that stuff that goes back. I remember when they started Kind of Funny, and I was always an admirer of it from the outside looking in. And then I would see Greg at an E3. He don't know who I am, whatever, right? And then I'll never forget whatever year it was. He was like, hey, like he knew who I was. I was like, what? You know who I am? And there's a picture, speaking of Call of Duty, 2018, we're at a Call of Duty event, and it was in LA at this like hangar. I think it might have been some Black Ops or something, I can't remember. But Greg is there, and he was talking with Jeff Gerstmann. So again, these are 2 people that I've admired over the years, wild. Right? And I nervously approached him and said, hey, and I'm no Khalif at this point, and I knew, Greg knew Khalif. And I asked Greg, hey, can we take a pic, and said something with Khalif, and we're doing like thumbs down. And that was like my first time actually talking to him about anything, right? And then so it was the next year, Game Awards 2019. I'm there with Khalif, and Greg's there. And that was the first time Greg and I like actually talked. And I'll never forget, we're going into the actual Game Awards itself, and to just see people just swarm.
Oh, Greg, it's wild, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Just swarm them and talking to them. And I just thought, oh man, that was so cool. And then now we're going into 2020, GDC. I was supposed to come up here for GDC, and I remember Greg was gonna have me come up, and it wasn't this studio at the time, but come to the studio, and was going to do the Kind of Funny podcast, which I've still not done, by the way. I always want to do that.
Okay.
I was going to do that, with Blessing and Austin Creed was going to be on it from WWE.
Remember that? Yep.
Pandemic happened. Shit never happened, obviously, right? And then I forget how. Now I'm trying to remember. Like I said, you guys have started Xcast, and I'm watching it. And I would chime in every now and again, chat or tweet or whatever. And Alana reached out, and I came on because Gary couldn't be on.
Yep.
So I guested, and then I came on another time as a guest. And then Alana leaves, and I just remember people saying, oh, you should just get Parris to come on full time.
That's how it went.
And then I remember Greg and Tim reached out to me privately. It was like, hey, would you like to come on? We're going to keep it a secret for a little while. And then we want you to come on and start a new year, and the rest is history. But I'm saying this long story to just say, I genuinely was a Kind of Funny best friend, just a fan, watching them work. And then getting to see on the other side of the curtain all the hard work that all of you put in, literally every day, to put all the stuff together.
It's a fun time.
It's crazy, man. And I still trip out that I get to be a little tiny part of it.
Well, I mean, the fun one is Rocksteady writes in with the $2 super chat and says, when is Parris making it the 12th person team?
It doesn't like that.
We need you, Parris. I need you in here. Of course, Kind of Funny best friends, thank you all so much for the love and the support. Don't forget that you can subscribe at the tier 1 through 3 level or for free with Prime Gaming. You can support over on YouTube by becoming a Kind of Funny member at just $10. You get the very best of Kind of Funny throughout each and every day. You get exclusive content. You'll get to watch our shows live, ad-free as we record them, and you get to keep this 11-person small business moving, chugging along to one day be 12 with Parris. But if you're excited, of course, on the streaming front, I am now back at work. I'm excited to give you some fun games coverage. We will be playing Space Marine, we'll be playing Astrobot, and we'll be working our way to next Friday, the return of Kingdom Hearts 2. So if you're a best friend out there that loves Kingdom Hearts, you've been excited to see the return of Snowbike Mike playing Kingdom Hearts. I think the last time you were here, I was giving you the lore of Kingdom Hearts, and I sounded like a lunatic.
Yes.
Kingdom Hearts 2 will happen next Friday, so you can come out there, support that, and enjoy, because I know a lot of you have been waiting for that content. But you brought up the Xcast, Parris, and since we're chopping it up,
Mm-hmm.
I do want to vibe and talk with you because, now that we've done this new setup of Gamescast and Games Daily,
Mm-hmm.
we don't do Xcast. And I haven't been able to pick your brain about, like, what your thoughts are. And I know I hear it a lot, but, like, it is an interesting world we live in right now of Xbox and what's going on, right? Indiana Jones, you and I saw the preview.
Yeah.
What did you think?
You want me to start with Indy and then
Yeah, then
loop
we
it
go,
back
then we
around?
loop.
So, and were you were on there when I popped on with Greg and we're talking about it. I mean, it looks good. I mean, is this some 10 out of 10? Oh my God, I got to play it day one, must have? No, but I think it's going to be good. I think Machine Games I've always admired them as a developer, going back to the Starbreeze days with, Riddick and all that stuff, right? So I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I also think you need to be an Indiana, if you just ripped Indiana Jones off of this and it was just generic archaeologists traveling the world, I don't think the hype would be as much.
Okay,
I think a lot of it is because of the Indiana Jones
That's
IP.
Andy. Yeah.
But with that said, I'm nostalgic for it because I grew up with it. I always use my kids as an example. My kids don't care.
No.
They don't care.
Would they care if it was Uncharted or Tomb Raider? Do they even care for these games to start off with? First
Maybe
step.
Uncharted, even Tomb Raider, they wouldn't.
Okay.
They wouldn't care.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you start off with step one. Are they in the mood for a
Yeah.
third-person action and adventure game, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where I start. And then past that, it's like, well, would they have preferred an Uncharted or a Tomb Raider game?
Yeah.
Or like, are people gonna be
Yeah.
interested in Indiana Jones? I agree with you. I think there's a weird market here for this game because there's a room where this could blow up and be great.
Yeah.
Right. If this is great and it's a lot of fun, I could see Indiana Jones 2 when we go on.
Yeah.
Because you got the name and the lineage, and people want those kind of games. But I don't know where we stand in today's market. Right?
Yeah, and that's going to be the interesting thing with this So a couple things. I don't agree with this coming out in December. I think that's a bad move.
Oh, really? I like it.
I don't. I think you're putting it past the prime holiday game season, so to speak, going into December. Because this actually is it right after the Game Awards or right before?
I think right afterwards.
I think it's right after. I just feel like it's not going to get the hype and the awareness that it probably would if, let's say, it was actually coming out in October.
It's so weird that, you say that, and Tim and Barrett were on the same way. And I'm over here thinking, I'm looking at it as a 12-month calendar. And I find that in December, I'm looking for a game to play. And I think that there should be more games in that December, January range because kids are off school. Like, I'm ready to play.
I think there's burnout by that point.
You think so?
Again, we're on here. I'm just going to curse. There's so many fucking games that
That's
are coming
true.
out
That's
from
true.
now until then that by the time I get into December, really, I'm supposed to pick up a brand new game and start.
Interesting.
I think that's not of all the months of the year to put out a game, I think that's probably the worst one.
Yeah, Matt over on the YouTube chat agrees with you. He says games go to die in December.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting one. Yeah, because for me, I'm always looking for a new game, and like it feels like I feel like the world on video games is on this track of give me the new all the time. And when we go into these weird dry periods, it feels like it's like, well, shit, there's nothing to play. And like it's funny because we all make the joke about the backlog, and yeah, you should just be playing that. But like it is this weird vibe of like, man, it's been dry. Like, let's get a new game going. And so I think that's why I want a December game.
I think they'd have been better off putting that game out middle of January. If you're gonna miss that September October window, I'd say middle of January.
Interesting.
Literally kick off the year with Indiana Jones. I think that would have been better off. And I'll go even further to say this, because this obviously is part of the conversation. It's coming to PlayStation 5, spring 2025. I'm of two minds of this.
Tell me.
I don't like that they made it a bigger deal that it was coming to PlayStation in spring of 2025 than it was to Xbox in December.
Man, they made that like the one more thing. This is the biggest news you need to know about.
I think from a brand,
was a weird vibe.
brand awareness standpoint, that's just freaking weird to me. Now, second part of this, I could care less that it's coming to PlayStation.
Yeah, of course.
Whatever. Put a day and date as far as I'm concerned. Why are you even waiting? Put it all out at once. Does it even matter?
Yeah.
Because from a exclusivity standpoint, you're you're not going to convince anyone to buy the Xbox version that doesn't already have an Xbox because the window's too short to wait. Even if the game's great. Indiana Jones comes out as a 10 out of 10 in December. If I don't own an Xbox, and the only reason I would buy an Xbox would be because of that game, well, hell, I'll just wait 3 months and just get it on PlayStation.
I think that's what I think this Xbox team, since we're going to chop it up,
Yeah.
I think that the Xbox team is going to run into a lot of that.
Yeah.
Of, well, why would I do this when I can just get this 6 months down the line? And I mean, it's just like there are people that are ingrained in the audience, like me, who are like, I'm in the ecosystem, I'm
Yeah.
going to buy,
Yeah.
I'm going to play on Game Pass. But I think they're also looking at it as like, well, those kids that aren't going to jump, they're going to buy it for $70.
Yeah.
So let's just put it over there and let's just roll.
Yeah, just roll with it.
Yeah.
Because if I'm in the Xbox ecosystem and I care about Game Pass, then okay, fine. If I don't, you're still buying it at $70 no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
I think that's their mentality at this point.
Man.
You know?
Xcast has been gone for a while. We haven't talked about that new Game Pass level, where now they've gotten really muddy with it. We don't even
I don't
get
like
the
it.
first party
I don't
games
like it.
anymore. What are we doing?
I don't like it. And
What
I don't
happened?
And I really don't like it for the fact that they've pretty much said that you're not getting those games, it'll be a year.
We don't even know. Yeah, that was so weird. We don't even know the date. It's like, what do you mean you don't know the
To
date?
me, that tier only exists to deter you to upgrade to Ultimate, to make Ultimate seem like a better deal.
At least they finally got away from gold, right? Like having the two different stuff. It's like, at least we're just on the one track of Game Pass, which I'm glad that we're doing, but then it's still too murky with all the
But you
options.
still got the core.
I know.
You got the core and then the standard and the Ultimate. It
Yeah.
gets, look, we're smart enough to understand it. I get it. But my wife don't get the shit. My wife was looking like, I don't know the game, the code. She like, I'm getting the cheap
I
one.
want to buy
Yeah.
Game Pass and just have it all.
Yes.
Or like Netflix, if you want to just sell me the base where I get it, and then you're like, oh, but for $5 more, you can get X, Y, and Z. Then you do that. But like make it like the base is the deal. That's where I want to be, and then I'll upgrade for more.
So I'll say this and keep names out of it. I had a conversation
Who you
with
talking with? Who you
with
talking
somebody
with,
at
Parris?
Xbox
Okay.
that, because I openly criticized the Game Pass thing in comparison to, I forget how it started off. But long story short, the conversation I had was about why am I holding Game Pass to a higher regard than PlayStation Plus? Because it was the
okay.
pricing of everything.
Okay.
It was like, well, PlayStation Plus does all this, and my retort was, Game Pass. The selling point of Game Pass has always been, I get it day and date.
Day one, first party
that has been
Yeah.
the selling point of it, and because of that, Game Pass will always be held to a higher standard than PlayStation Plus. PlayStation has never tried to sell me on their subscription service as something that I needed to have as this great value as this thing. It is very optional to them. They're still in the market of buy your games day one, $70.
Yeah.
Whereas you've been telling me as a consumer, here's your subscription service, this is a great deal. I'm gonna give you all my first party games day and date. Now you introduce a new tier that never existed before and you say I don't get day and date. I don't like it.
I don't like that.
And the price of it, I think it's too much. For what it is, again, why would I buy that? I might as well get the one for $20.
Does Call of Duty, though, squash all of that?
No.
Like when we get Call of Duty in October and everybody gets it on Game Pass, does the price thought, do you forget about that? Do you forget about all, does the common consumer go, oh shit, I got Game Pass, I got Call of Duty?
Here's where it could work, and here's where it probably doesn't work as far as what you're saying. And again, I always try to use real world examples. My neighbor, he plays this, NBA, he plays Madden, he plays Call of Duty. Game Pass is irrelevant to him. He doesn't care.
Yeah, you don't need it.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's still gonna go buy Call of Duty. He's not subscribing to Game Pass to play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't care. He got the 3 games that he plays, and that's all he plays. He's not looking to play freaking Visions of Mana, right? He doesn't care. He's only gonna play those 3 games. So to him, Game Pass is a non-factor. The pricing of it could be $100, it could be 50 cents. He doesn't care. He's only gonna buy those 3 games every year.
Let's keep talking about games, you and I, for a little bit. How about Concord? You've been in the games industry for a long time, Parris.
Man.
Have you ever seen a situation like this? Because I think back, Here's a fun one for all of you out there that you would know about. Obsidian, no, Ninja Theory made a game called Bleeding Edge.
Yes.
Bleeding Edge was a passion project, small group.
Yes.
They put that out on Game Pass. Nobody could give a shit about it. We played that for a couple of weeks. It died a year later, right? Nobody ever spoke about it. We just kind of came and went. Concord now comes out, and 2 weeks later they're telling me it's going to go offline? 2 weeks? That's crazy, Parris.
No, it's damn near unprecedented, a game of this big, having that, I mean, to just die on a vine like that. But here's the frustrating thing about Concord, and we've all talked about it at some point here in the studio. It's not bad. It's just not doing enough to separate itself from the pack. And the conversation I was having at PAX about this, and it was so ironic, the conversation I was having, because it literally predicted what just happened yesterday. Yeah. And the main theme of the issue is time. There's only so much time to play all these games. And when you want to do a live service game, you're asking for a time commitment and a financial commitment long term. So if I'm investing, like I'll just use Destiny as an example, because I was knee deep into Destiny for years, time-wise and financially. It's gonna take a lot to get me to stop playing something that I've already invested so much time and effort into to not go play something brand new. You gotta be doing something special.
You gotta be great, is right, Parris.
Absolutely.
You can't
gotta
be good.
Yeah.
You gotta be
You gotta
great.
be like, whoa, I gotta go play this.
Especially in that genre, right?
Yes.
We talk about it all the time, and I always brought it up to you guys of someone who was playing these games every single night with his friends, right?
Yeah.
Like, you are going into an area that has the top dogs in it and are controlling the market space, and they're not moving.
Nope.
We've seen too many games come in, try to get a little elbow room at the table, and then get pushed out.
Yeah.
And like this game, to then say, hey, but we're selling it at $40, and we're gonna give you everything you want, and gamers go, ooh, I like that. But then we were proven that they don't want to spend money on it, though. They want all the things you offered, that everything is earnable, everything is in-game, you don't have to buy anything, but it's got to be free. And it's just like, that just did not work.
I'm going to give you a great example. Have you guys played Delta Force on stream yet?
I played Delta Force, yeah.
Delta Force is the shit. But they smartly are saying it's free to play.
Okay.
So in other words, we're going to hook you. We're going to get you in. We're going to encourage you to come try this game. You're going to get hooked on it, and you're willingly going to want to spend money on our microtransactions and battle passes for this game because you like what we're giving you, this quality AAA experience, right? Whereas Concord, I think it backfired because we're conditioned now that I don't want to spend the money up front on some hero shooter or live service game. I want to be able to try it to see if it's for me first. And then I'll willingly give you my money if I think it's good enough. And unfortunately, Concord was not good enough where that price became a barrier to entry.
We also talked about there was too many games around them.
Mike, I try to be a logical person. I know people get mad at me online with some of my opinions on stuff, but I always try to look at stuff logically. I just forget. Concord could have been Jesus Christ the game. But I'm looking at what was coming out around it, and I go, no one's going to talk about this. I don't care what you think about Star Wars Outlaws. It's Star Wars. That came out same week essentially, right? Black Ops, hell, got Call of Duty Next coming out that same week, the beta coming right behind it.
Boom.
It's all people are going to talk about. And what come out, what are we about to review tomorrow? Astrobot. That's all people are going to talk about.
Too many games.
Just in essentially a 10-day window around that game. And think about it. Just in that same 10-day window, this game didn't survive. It literally did not survive because people were too distracted with other things that they already had their trust.
Did it get Titanfall 2'd?
I think this is even worse than Titanfall 2. It's even worse, but essentially, it got Titanfall 2. Whereas, why the hell did you put that game out around these other games?
They should have held that game for another 6 months, like you said. Go off in February or March when the Call of Duty highest wore off and people want something new, right? You got to make it free to play, as we've talked about. Figure that out for the next 6 months on how you can monetize and get us out there. But like you got to look at the market and go, all of a sudden, Steam has now unlocked everyone to Deadlock.
Yes.
And you can play that. Shroud is pumping a game called Spectre Divide.
Yes.
We got Delta Force Black Ops.
Yes.
We got Infinite Arena Breakout. We got every shooter game that's trying to go right now, and you decide we got to plant the flag here and drop this. That's got to be, we got to hold. I mean, look at Avowed.
And First Descendant.
You got to do the Avowed move.
Yes.
We were waiting for Avowed. We thought it was going to be here. And they're like, you know what? Actually, we're going to wait. 2025. And guess what? No big deal. We'll wait.
To me,
could have done that.
To me, it comes down to this. This is where, like I would be fascinated to be in one of these planning meetings that they've had over the last 18 months for Concord. Whereas you got to read the room and look at the genre that you're trying to release in. What is the right window to put it out in? What is the right monetization strategy to put out in? And okay, maybe 18 months ago it made sense. But you can't tell me in the last 6 months you weren't looking at the landscape of the industry and thinking, yep, this is a good idea to put out at $40 in this window when you see what else is coming out. Even if you got to the point of the beta thinking this is a good idea, the beta told you, don't put this game out.
The beta
told you.
How did we not read the tea leaves?
Because the beta, forget the pre-order one with PlayStation Plus, all right, fine. The one that was open, anybody could go play it, nobody played it.
That's crazy.
You delay the game, you figure it out. You go, you know what, after second thought, we're going to delay Concord to 2025 and figure out a new release window, maybe change the pricing strategy, whatever.
Yeah, people are saying there's an audio delay, audio desync on that one. But yeah, I can shut everything down. Tyler O writes in with the $5 super chat, says, have we ever seen a game be free to play for the first level, but then charge if you want a full game / more modes? So maybe the best of both worlds.
Give me one. Give me.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, and I think that would be kind of. I'd be like, oh really? Oh, I don't know if that would work.
We'll talk
Chad,
about
is that
that right
better?
after
Let me
Kevin
know.
fixes this audio delay.
Oh, I just did it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In my mind, how that would go then, this is the issue that you would run into then, is you would go free to play, but then sell the next season and the new maps. But the issue is now you start to separate the audience of Parris didn't pay, so he's not playing this. And if I can't play this with my friends, then why am I paying here, right? Or my friends are playing and I can't pay with them. I'm getting gate kept out of it. I'm not going to play it anymore. And so you get into this weird issue of you can't straddle the line.
Yeah.
You got to pick a lane. And there's too many games that are free to play that have proven that as much as people complain about being monetized for skins, guns, whatever it may be, people still pay that and they get over it and they just do it.
Yeah.
And so you got to bite the bullet and just go for it.
I agree.
It's crazy.
I'll say this, and there's games that are obviously already in the production stage, and it's the point of no return. There's no way in hell I'm trying to put out a live service or games as a service game right now. I just think the market is just too saturated, and you got the top 1%ers. No, I mean, think about it. The fucking Warzone's about to come out. No, everybody's gonna play it.
So how does COD get away with it then?
Because they're Call of Duty.
Because they're the juggernaut.
Because they're Call of Duty.
Because COD is still coming out at $70.
Yeah, because they're Call of Duty, and they've been doing it at this high level essentially since about 07.
Yeah. It's been the best.
Yeah.
Ad is all updated?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. No, press the ad. Don't worry about it. I handle it. Yeah,
right,
don't worry
thanks,
about it. Yeah, I mean, that's the world we live in right now. It's tough to, pick a lane and see that. It's just wild that 2 weeks later, Parris, we're talking about a PlayStation game that you expected big things from to do this. And the game was good. Had a weird idea of the storytelling. You and I talked back in Halo Infinite. I never liked that. I always thought that was a weird.
Yeah.
It was like they should have just done a single player game like Guardians of the Galaxy, where you and this ragtag crew get a dope cutscene, you jump into some mission, you shoot up a bunch of baddies, you jump into the next cool cutscene and go. Like, they should have just done that.
Or something like
Or
that.
make brute force 4-player co-op.
Yeah, you could do that.
Around,
I was even thinking, okay, you want like this multiplayer type thing, but you add co-op elements where there is like a PvEP element to it, where maybe you are going into these worlds where there are actual multiplayer people, but then there's basically AI bots or something that you're fighting. I don't know. I don't know. It's
unheard of. It's so funny because I told Greg and them on
Yeah.
the podcast, I said, I cannot wait for us to talk about this game in 6 months, 3 months down the line, where this stands. I didn't think it was going to be 2 weeks later for you
Not
to say,
even really.
we're turning this off. We are refunding people. We are
Yes.
asking you not to actively buy this game.
I know it's nuts. I had someone to have a theory when I was at PAX say they think they know this isn't, and obviously this is before we knew it was going to be this quick, but they knew this was a dud.
Yeah.
But it was better to just put it out and let it fail to prove a point
To who?
to leadership about the people that are making these decisions.
Yeah,
like
but that-
because well, this was the
Yeah,
theory
that's
that
crazy. Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to remember all this stuff got greenlit under Jim Ryan, right? Obviously Herman Holtz and I'm forgetting the other gentleman's name is the new leadership.
Yes.
Now, this could have been a thing of, all right, we're gonna put it out, but now you're gonna see why this is why we're telling you this is not the strategy for PlayStation moving forward. We need to pivot and go to this. There's not an audience for this type of game in the PlayStation community. I mean, again, this is all theories. Who the frick knows? But it was so obvious to so many people that don't put this game out, don't put it out, and they did it anyway.
Yeah.
And hell, I could even take you back during the Xcast days. Remember when Battlefield 2042 was in the beta? We were saying then, do not put this game out. It is not ready. It's gonna be a shit show. And then it was. So it just makes you wonder.
And that has taken so much time to get back.
Yeah,
on track.
and then this is my point.
Just to get that
Look how long it
round
took.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it never recovered.
Never did.
That's the issue with Concord now is, like I said on the Gamescast, you get one first impression. And whatever this team does now afterwards will never be the same. It's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Like you've ruined it.
Yeah.
It's like you and I were talking about it early in the morning. If they do come back 3 months, 6 months from now,
The name.
no one's going to care.
Yeah,
It's over.
the
We're
name,
past
yeah,
that.
it's over.
Yeah, yeah.
Like even pulling Halo Infinite into this. Halo Infinite multiplayer is pretty freaking good right now, right? But it is hard to get people to get past the first impression of it, where it's first 18 months of life, there was just
Correct.
no
Well,
content.
we're never let go of, I loved that game, but they gave me nothing that first year. I'm never going back to
Right.
that. You'll never get past it's over. You'll never get past it.
Yeah.
You cannot sell me on playing that for more than a
Yeah.
day. And that's the issue. You talk about time, right? Is that group needs me more than just a day.
Yeah.
One day, a month, one day a year is not going to cut it for what they need. They
Yeah.
need people there every single day. Do you think Fortnite changed the world? Is Fortnite to
Yes,
blame on this?
that and PUBG.
Was
think-
Call of Duty doing it before Fortnite though? Halo 3 and Call of Duty were they
No,
doing
because
it
I
before
think
Fortnite?
because I think Call of Duty was still doing the old school multiplayer strategy where you buy the game for $70.
Yeah.
You get the multiplayer. Sure, there's DLC and things like that, but if you don't buy that DLC, then you're basically locked out from your friends of playing the other
Yeah.
stuff. Whereas this now, they want to make sure everybody stays together and play, and you got the battle passes and all this stuff. So no, I do think it's Fortnite. I do.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It is truly amazing.
But to that point, Call of Duty was able to adapt and keep it going, where you still get your traditional multiplayer from Call of Duty, but they introduced that Warzone,
They've done a great job.
and that you don't have to buy nothing. We'll let you have it. And
You get in.
Yeah.
We want you to be part of it.
Yeah.
We want you to think about it. We want you to play it.
Yeah.
Now you're in it, is right. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Big shout out to, of course, our friend King Phineas for becoming a member. Shout out to Big King. Thank you, homie, for becoming a kind of funny member, having some fun with me and Parris. We're just kicking it.
Yeah.
On the couch. We got Parris in the building. I'm coming back from a fun little work trip. And so we're getting back in the flow. I got us NBA 2K on. We're watching your Lakers take on the Dubs right now. A Klay Thompson-less Dubs.
Can we talk some NBA?
Let's talk some hoops.
So I got too much to say about the Lakers. Let's start with Golden State.
Okay.
It was interesting to see that they gave Curry the extension. It was the 1-year extension, but to essentially say that Steph Curry is going to be a Warrior for life, right?
Yes.
There they've been trying to make moves, like they tried to get Market in. Obviously, they tried to get Paul George. There's rumblings about them trying to get somebody else now. I'm forgetting, but they clearly want to keep that window open with Steph Curry of being a title contender.
Trying to be an title contender, yeah.
But you're going to have to rebuild it around him. Draymond is what? I think his deal's up in 2 more years. I think he has this season and 1 more. They're not, unless he comes back at a discount, he's going to be gone. So the Warriors that we knew, especially with the new CBA, with the apron, tax apron and all that stuff, it's going to look a lot different. But I tell you this, man. He showed in those last 2 games of the Olympics.
He's still the man.
Hey, Stephen A. said it, but it's true. The greatest shooter God has ever created. That amazing. The fact that I can say I watched this dude play in his prime.
Yeah.
Is something, because it's we're not going to see this again for a long time.
Someone lighten it up like that.
Not like that.
Way. It's crazy the run that they've been on.
Yeah.
The growth that team had from being a bunch of youngsters, taking on the Clippers back in the day with Lob City, trying to get past them, then finally getting over the hump, winning, bringing on KD, winning there, losing KD, then winning one more time with a ragtag group of people, you know, and then getting rid of people from Poole to now Thompson. I mean, I am mad at the organization because Thompson, he should have retired as a Golden State Warrior. Those 3 should be together forever.
But from a business standpoint, it was the right move.
I get it.
That's what I mean. You got to take feelings out of it.
It's crazy that we're about business, but not about the city and finishing together.
Yeah.
Because the history. It's just crazy that like we've gone through all of that. These 2 and then the 3rd with Draymond all together. The story, the lineage, the memories, and then just like, oh, we're not going to finish this out together. That's wild.
So this brings up, just kind of sticking on Steph Curry and just this whole run. So my son's a Warriors fan. He loves Steph Curry. It's his favorite player. So we always beefing back and forth, talking about what ifs. And, the whole new craze now is, like, and Ant even kicked it up again about 90s basketball wasn't really that good.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And all this stuff. So Steph Curry essentially changed how basketball is played by himself with the way he shoots.
Taking it beyond the arc.
Beyond the arc.
Making it a game
he turned this into a 3-point shooting thing. And again, you go back and watch games from the 80s or 90s, you can definitely see people that was posting up and all. It's vastly different now. The mid-range is like a myth in basketball now, right? But I always talk about this what if. If Steph goes to the Knicks, basketball looks vastly different right now. Because remember, he had all these injuries and stuff, and it took him a while to go. And it was a combination of Mark Jackson seeing the greatness that was in him.
Oh, man.
Giving him the green light to shoot like that. And drafting Klay Thompson. Yeah. If he doesn't have Klay Thompson on the other side of him, what do you think every defense is going to do? I'm triple teaming him. He ain't shooting the ball, but you can't because you got probably the 3rd greatest shooter ever on the other side.
What a great time.
And that's why the Splash Brothers was so fun to just watch. And it's crazy to think. But then you think about the other what if during the 2010s when they were going back and forth with Cleveland. You got prime. You got to remember, LeBron was at his peak of his powers during that time, right? That first matchup, if Kyrie and Kevin Love are healthy, there's a chance they don't win.
What a fun match.
It would have been such a what if. And then you throw the KD factor into this. If LeBron doesn't come back from 3-1 and win, KD never goes to Golden State. It all looks different right now. This whole thing looks different. You know what I mean? But Steph showed his greatness in 2022 by winning that title without KD. Yes. So no one can ever say, you need to. No. He won it before him. He won it after him. And then what he did in the Olympics just sealed the deal.
What an incredible experience, those 2 teams going back and forth.
Yeah.
LeBron and Steph and all the characters. I mean, we're talking J.R. Smith. You had freaking Kyrie at his prime popping off against them. That was so much fun to watch. I'm looking at the one, never will forget. Klay Thompson, 60 points on 11 dribbles. Are you kidding me?
That's what I'm saying.
You'll never see that
He's probably
again.
the third greatest shooter we've ever
That's
seen.
some of the coolest stuff. That's the coolest headline stat you will ever hear.
Yeah.
60 points on 11 dribbles is absolutely insane stuff. And yeah, I'm just blown away that is what the team looks like now without him. It's just heartbreaking without this guy on the team because we've been, a decade with them, and it's just been a family, It's wild to think.
I know, Game 6 Clay.
And we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Who else you like? What else should we talk? Let's talk about Bron and Bronny. He said he's not calling me dad on the court. He said he's not allowed to call me dad on the court, we said. That shit's awesome.
Yeah, and that's how it should.
That, of course, but that's amazing. That is amazing.
So people know I'm a Lakers fan. And what I'm going to say might sound crazy to some people. I'm ready for LeBron to retire.
No.
Yeah.
He's got to play until he's 40. 45.
He's going to get the year with Bronny. Nepotism at its finest. I ain't mad at it. But for the overall health of the Los Angeles Lakers moving forward, we've been trapped in this LeBron vortex. The bubble championship, great. Can't nobody tell me it's fake because they were the best team going in it and they won it. I don't care what nobody says. And who just said it? Dwight Howard was just on with Gill and those guys and pretty much alluded to it. That 2021 team, if AD and LeBron got hurt, but if AD doesn't get hurt, they were even better than they were in 2020. They should have run it back. One thing I just will never get over with LeBron was Russell Westbrook. What were you thinking? What were you thinking? That is a trade that didn't make sense when they announced it, and obviously in practice completely gutted that team. You got rid of KCP, who was a great on-ball defender. He could hit it. Made no sense. You got rid of the pieces that made you good, the depth, everything that you had. Ball Mamba was on that team. We talking about Caruso. It made no sense to bring him in. And then you basically had to give up part of your future just to get rid of him. They got D'Lo and obviously Austin Reeves and all that. They're going to be okay. But the Lakers aren't going to win a chip. I'm realistic on that. They're not going to win a chip. You
don't think LeBron could carry him one more time?
He's 40 years old. He should not. That's the whole point. He's 40 years old. He should not be trying to carry. I mean, look, AD had a great year last year, stayed healthy. How he was not Defensive Player of the Year is ridiculous. But it's time to build a team around him, and we got to get younger. We can't keep going to the well of the 40-year-old LeBron.
How about J.J. Redick as the coach? You vibing?
This is the point that I'm bringing up. That's a LeBron pick.
It's
what
LeBron
they say,
pick, baby.
LeBron got tired of Darvin Ham, which I don't disagree with. Literally auditioned the dude on the podcast.
That was amazing.
I'm staying out of it. I have nothing to do with it. But then yet they hire him as the coach, and then they draft your son. Get out of here. It's all LeBron.
What would you do in this situation? Oh, yeah, I vibe with that.
Yeah,
of course. You know what's happening is right. It's going to be a fun one. All I want from LeBron is if I had it my way, 3 more years. And the final year, we know. Hey, this is the final year. I'm going on the world tour.
3?
I need 3.
No!
I never want him to stop.
No!
He's my hero.
No!
He's the best. I love LeBron.
You trying to get
3 minimum.
You trying to go past Bryce. You trying to get his daughter to be the first woman player in the NBA. It's like, what are you doing?
Playing.
You trying to get everybody.
I can't, Parris. No matter what, I just want to make sure that we know it's the farewell tour. Like, he's got to come out and say, I'm playing 1 more year of ball. I'm going to come to your city, and I'm going to play a quarter. Buy your tickets now, because this is the end. That's what I want from LeBron. I don't want to end the year, and all of a sudden LeBron in the middle of summer is out with the banana boat boys, and he's like, hey, I'm done now. It's like, I want him, because he's the GOAT, to make it very clear to us fans, it's over.
Okay, so here's the scenario I'm going to give you, because I've now gone through this twice with a superstar player of my favorite team.
Yeah.
The Kobe one made sense because we knew Kobe was at the end. The injuries had caught up to him. That last game was perfection. You can never replicate that. I'm glad Tom didn't announce that was his final year. I'm glad Tom just played it out. Tom obviously tried to retire, came back, but even then people thought, oh, Tom might come back for another year. I didn't need the Tom Brady farewell tour.
Okay.
Right? I'm trying to win a Super Bowl. That was my thought as a Bucs fan. LeBron, if LeBron announces this is my final year ahead of time,
yep,
it will be a circus sideshow. I don't want it. I don't want it. There's no way LeBron's not going to do the Kareem farewell. We get the rocking chair and all that. LeBron's going to make everything about LeBron spectacle. The last game at Madison Square Garden. Oh my God!
Come on.
Can you imagine? Stuff like that. That last game. I'm gonna tell you what the NBA is gonna do. I'm gonna tell you what the NBA is gonna do.
You know what they're gonna do.
They're gonna put LeBron's last game at Cleveland will probably be like the Christmas game or something.
Yeah.
They're gonna make the Miami one they'll probably put that on MLK Day or something crazy like that. They're gonna make all the stops
You gotta do it.
a big
One
deal.
time.
Right?
One final year.
And then that last game, I'm just trying to think because it'll have to be a Western Conference team. But they're going to probably him and Steph. That'll probably be the last game.
Square up.
Against Golden
more.
State or something, right? It's going to be, I don't know that.
I love that. I already like what you're putting down. It's got to happen. It's right, Parris. I love that.
I don't want that. I'm trying to win. I'm not trying to be about LeBron.
So
let me ask you this before you even say something.
Yeah.
Because I already know my answer on this.
Okay.
Should LeBron get a statue out in front of Staples?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Hell yeah.
Hell no.
Hell yeah.
No.
He made the Lakers fun again after Kobe.
No. Absolutely
You don't want
not.
to. No, you got to put LeBron out there.
No. He's not. LeBron's not a Laker.
So you don't want any ties to LeBron in LA?
No.
That's crazy.
No.
The
Absolutely not.
one of the best players ever to play.
LeBron is a Cleveland Cavalier.
He's like, what about Miami?
He's a Cleveland Cavalier.
He's not getting a Miami statue?
They might do it. We're the purple and gold. We don't just put willy-nilly, because you won a chip.
If I own the team and I got LeBron, if he comes to Detroit for half a season, we're putting a statue of LeBron out there.
I needed 3.
You needed 3.
Not 1. I needed 3. You don't get it for 1. So in that case, Anthony Davis should get a statue going by your standards.
If it's going to draw people to come and take photos in front of the stadium, hell yeah.
It's the Los Angeles Lakers. We don't need that.
It's LeBron James, the greatest player of all
I don't need that.
Oh my God,
no.
that's crazy.
No.
So do you think they'll do it or not?
No.
You don't think they will?
No. What? You know what,
be real now.
You know what? You know what? Jeannie likes him.
Come on. It's the city of stars. It is LA. You don't think that in 10 years from now?
I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. It's gonna get graffitied. It is. I'm telling you right now. LeBron. I like LeBron, but I'm not like this LeBron super fan.
Yeah.
That I kiss the ground that he walks on. He's not okay. Breaking down Laker greats, right? Obviously Magic.
He's on.
Obviously Kobe.
Yeah.
Obviously Kareem.
Okay.
Logo. Jerry West.
Okay. Yeah.
Chick Hearn. You gotta have Chick again. He got a statue. I'm just telling you, Chick, Laker legend.
Okay. Shaq.
Yeah, and Shaq. That's it. That's it.
I find it just hard to believe that the city of angels and the city of stars would not put a LeBron James statue out there.
Jeannie probably does it, but I don't agree with it.
He's the biggest name. He is the next coming of the Lakers that we got excited to watch again, because there was years of Luke Walton. You know what I mean? I'm watching Luke Walton out there. So yeah, I mean, he's got to get a statue, I would think. He's getting a statue in all 3. Everybody's putting a LeBron statue out.
I get it. He's gonna, by the end, depending on when you grew up, he's either the greatest or second greatest player ever. I get it.
100%, yeah. You think it's Gary? It's Gary.
Yes.
It's Gary freaking Winter in the building. Gary Winter, get over here and hang out with us, man. How are you, Gary?
I mean, that's why I'm here.
Man, thanks for coming in.
Good to see you.
Smell good.
Oh, thank you.
He always does. Sit down. Let me get your microphone, man.
All right, thank you.
Come sit down.
In the paint.
Get comfortable.
That's part of our identity, our
What's going on?
Nothing. We're just kicking it. We're just chopping it up, talking.
Is this
Man.
NBA 25?
Yeah, this is 2K. Make sure everybody's on.
Actually,
Well, while we set up everybody, let's just run a quick ad. We'll give everybody a minute, and then we'll welcome in Gary, all right? Here we go.
From the award-winning game studio BioWare comes an immersive fantasy series, Dragon Age: Vows and Vengeance. A pair of heroes brought together by fate to embark on a journey of revenge, redemption, and love. Set in the vast world of Thetis, Dragon Age: Vows and Vengeance features key characters from the upcoming game Dragon Age: The Veilguard, rated M for mature. Let's check out a trailer.
So, what's the mark?
The Eye of Cthiska. From the world of Dragon Age comes a new tale.
The Eye was crafted centuries ago by a powerful dreamer.
Listen to me. You've been tricked. We have to put this back and leave.
I'm sorry, but I won't let you pay for my mistakes.
The Eye will destroy us.
Dragon Age, Vows and Vengeance. Listen and subscribe wherever you get podcasts.
Check out Dragon Age: Vows and Vengeance, an 8-episode immersive fantasy series now at kindafunny.com/dragonage. That's kindafunny.com/dragonage. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. What's something you'd love to learn? As an adult, do you make time to learn new things as often as you'd like? Or was that lost in childhood? Kids are always learning and growing, but as adults, sometimes we lose that curiosity. What's something you'd like to learn? Gardening, a new language, or maybe how to finally beat your best friend in bowling. Therapy can help you reconnect with your sense of wonder because your back-to-school era can come at any age. Some of Tim's best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who have experienced a major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/kindafunny today for 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny.
To the media one of that, and there was 12 people there.
I love it. That's what I like.
Empty, man.
I like a nice empty theater. If it was up to me, I'd be the only one in there.
Isn't that the dream? Is right.
I love it.
Mic check, mic check. Hello, chat. Let's make sure you can hear Gary all right. Let me know if you can hear me all right. And we will have some fun with Gary and Parris in the group. Yeah, it's a nice little reunion, Gary. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with us.
Are we back? We're back live?
We're back live. It's just you, me, and Parris hanging out with the chat, having some fun. We've been talking Xbox. We've been talking sports. How about your soccer team? They're back.
They're back. Had a bit of a mixed start. One win, one loss, and one draw. So a little bit all, still kind of finding our feet a little bit. Could be worse. Could be a Man United fan. They're in the mud right now. They're really struggling.
You just had to give it to them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I like that.
What a mess.
Chat, let me know if you can hear me now since I'm away from that microphone. People are excited to see you, Gary.
Do you have a mic now?
Yeah, I got a mic. You got a mic?
I got a mic.
I don't want to take anyone's mic.
Yeah, I got a mic.
Good. We're all set. We're just hanging out. We've just been relaxing all day.
Is this just like CPU versus CPU?
That's
or something?
exactly right.
Okay.
I even have FIFA ready as well, so we can turn on some soccer
nice.
as well if we want
Nice.
to. But yeah, we've just been going through. Have you jumped on any sports games lately?
No, I actually I put in a request for a code on this just today.
Oh, okay.
In fact,
Nice. Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if it's something I'm gonna play because I'm not really a basketball person, but I do think that I don't know how good. I mean, what's the like the educated view of these games these days? Are they good? Like people like the 2K basketball games?
Rinse and repeat, copy paste. So if you liked the year prior, you're most likely going to like this. Small improvements always are being made by the team in such a small window of development. Nothing, I don't think anything is like life-changing year to year when you see.
But I know, but I remember on the last one, like there were some people, like, there's always like people with these games, right, that are like really unhappy with whatever, right, the online or something. Like I know people have got like real grievances about these games. I just thought the whole story mode with Jake from State Farm is really funny.
Oh, he'll be back.
Is he back?
They'll make him back. He'll be back. That's big money.
As long as there's money to be
of
made,
course.
right?
Yeah.
Apparently you're very quiet, Mike.
Yeah, I'm on like some microphone, so we'll figure it out as we go here in just a second. Is right. We're just happy to have you back.
Yeah, I'm happy to be. Like I said, you caught me on a good day. If you'd have asked me yesterday, I would have said no because I was delivering a draft. But that's done. It's off my desk as of this morning.
Nice.
All I had to do was run a couple of errands. Had to go to the hardware store, but that's done now. So I'm here for a little while. Good for me to get out of the house. What I think is amazing about sports, maybe it's like a thing, I don't know what you think, Parris, but maybe it's for us older guys that remember what sports games used to look like, that maybe we appreciate it more now, that you can walk into like a living room and it honestly takes you a second to figure out if you're watching TV or a video game.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Like, it's uncanny how realistic these games have become.
Wait.
And I just wonder if like people that like grew up with PlayStation 2 or whatever, were they already starting to get this way?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I remember playing fucking basketball on the Atari 2600 where it was just literally like blobs. Yeah. It was just little stick figures and a square ball.
I had Kobe Bryant courtside on N64, and that was like the most difficult basketball game to ever try to control.
Okay.
Because you had the N64 controller that made no sense, right?
Right.
You had the C buttons, you had a D-pad, and you had a joystick. None of them made sense for a basketball game or any sports games in general. But, man, I miss those days, Gary.
All right, I'm playing, and I have not played a NBA 2K game in probably 2 years. So I don't
like
even know
that.
the controls,
Like, you're actually playing now?
Gary, do you want to play too?
No, I'm good.
I was going to say, I'll hand you a controller. You can show them your skills.
No, I'll get schooled.
What is the best sports game, Gary? What's the best sports game ever to be made?
I tell you what, it's funny because I was talking to someone about this the other day. I certainly don't think it's the best sports game, but the one that I have possibly the fondest memory of, because I just think it was so much fun, and I wish they would bring it back, is NHL Hits on the original Xbox.
So good, Gary.
It was like 2-on-2 or 3-on-3 hockey, simplified down to arcade rules, and every hit was like through the glass, because it was the hockey version of NFL Blitz.
It was so good,
right?
Gary.
And it had a great
made
soundtrack.
by Midway, yeah.
Yeah, it was Midway's thing. I think they only ever did like maybe one or two of them, but I just remember I played that game to death.
Yep. That was the era.
Because it was like Slapshot, the game, right? Every hit was like, boom!
Blitz, NHL Hits, and MLB Slugfest were all those just like super arcadey sports games that they tried to just rip off Blitz, and it was just so much fun back then. And yeah, the NHL Hits was the best.
I think there's definitely a huge market for these games that are super accurate, and you can get deep into the stats and the combos and controls and stuff like that. But I like sports games you can just pick up and play like an arcade game. That's why I liked NHL Hits. That's why I liked NBA Jam. It's like two buttons, right? You don't have to worry about all this.
Jump in and have fun.
Even when FIFA to me has become far too complicated, like with all the step overs and ball control stuff you can do. Like there's a high skill ceiling, and for people that get really good at it, that's amazing. But I just want like I always put it on like 1 or 2 button controls, like dummy controls. Kick the ball, pass the ball. Like I don't want to have to get into the complexities of it. I like simple, straightforward arcade-style sports games. I wish there were more of them. They don't make that many of them. Everything now is this, right? Hyper-realistic, hyper-complicated.
See the sweat on their face.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, aesthetically.
There's a market for that. Yeah.
But I mean, that's amazing. I just wish that I could play it in a more simplified arcadey type way.
Maybe you and I can try the new FIFA mode where they're doing the pro clubs, but with not 11 people anymore. They're making it like
I always wanted to try that pro clubs where you're in like 11 players.
Yeah. And you play your role, and we try our best to win.
Yeah, you got to stay in position.
And we just yell at each other because we're messing up.
It definitely seems like a license to shout at each other. Oh, and of course, you've got to give honorable mentions to, I don't know if it counts as a sports game. I guess it does, but my favorites from that era, SSX 3.
You love that.
A lot of people say tricky, but SSX 3 is my personal favorite.
Yeah.
And of course, NBA Street Volume 2.
The GOAT. The GOAT.
Did I tell you that I got a PS2 emulator running on my PC?
And you got that going?
I fired up NBA Street Volume 2.
How was it?
Honestly, it still looks good, and it honestly, it really kind of hit me in the nostalgia glands. Big time to hear DJ Cucumber Slice.
Isn't that the best?
Oh my God,
come on. So much fun, Gary. You had to go on that world tour, beat teams, recruit new players.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Have all of the icons that you remember from Stretch and Biggs. All those guys.
I loved it.
Cool.
I loved it.
Yeah, they gotta bring that back, Gary. It's crazy.
And the court, there was always like really cool court. There was like a court that was like on a rooftop.
Yep, the dome.
Yeah. Oh, my God, so good.
Rucker Park was in there. I love that they did that. Yeah, I missed that. It's really cool. It's right. Gary, it's funny we bring that up, but you don't see them doing that. Did you see? Do you have any love for backyard sports, the kids' games?
I don't think I ever played them.
Okay, did you see the announcement that they're coming back?
No, what are they doing?
Yeah, they're going to bring back Backyard Sports, like the franchise.
Okay.
They're going to do it multimedia as well, they announced. So there'll probably be like a Netflix cartoon series or movie,
All right.
I bet. But they're going to bring the games back. Be interesting to see if your kids are interested in that at all.
Maybe. I
You know what I mean?
One of them's too young, and the other one definitely has no interest in sports
Yeah.
at all. But I might be interested because I think those games are more like that, right? More arcadey,
Yeah.
more just pick up and play. I wish there were more sports games that would pick up and play.
What you been playing lately?
I mean, still a lot of Helldivers.
I love that for
The group of regular people that I had been playing with had kind of fallen off, but recently they've started to kind of drift back, and I've been playing some group games again. A lot of pickups.
Okay.
But it's a good community. People are always very little toxicity in the Helldivers community. People are helping each other out because it's a co-op game, right? Because I think those games foster less toxicity than competitive.
Of course,
PvP type games. Always good hanging out with people there. A lot of people in voice chat. I'm chatting with randos all the time.
I love that.
I'm a 10-star general now.
They treat you like that too?
They do. They treat
They're
me
like,
with
oh
the,
shit,
they treat
this
me
guy's
with the
the
respect
goat.
I deserve. Well, what's nice about it is, I think I've said this before, I'm not good at games, right? I'm not particularly good at video games. I enjoy video games, but I'm not very good at most of them. Every now and again, there's something where if I put enough hours in, like it just clicks for me and I get good. I would, without hesitation, say that like I know that I'm genuinely good at that game. Like any team would be happy to have me.
There you go. Yeah.
And so, for example, yesterday I jumped in on a game as a pickup, and at the end of the game, and I like fucking totally like owned it. And at the end of the game, I had friend requests from all three of the other players.
Oh, that's when you know you did it.
They all want
right,
a little
Gary.
piece of Gary.
Oh, that's awesome, Gary. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're still gaming on that, having fun.
What else am I playing?
Have you tried Deadlock yet?
Oh, just installed it today. I got Andy's.
Gary.
I got Andy's invite. Is it
Nice?
Is it good? Am I going to like it?
Gary, it's a ton of fun. It's a heavy MOBA. I mean, it's a
MOBA?
At first, it is a third-person shooter at its core. So if you're down to just for a third-person shooter, you'll enjoy it. But it is very much a MOBA, Gary.
Okay.
4 lanes. You're playing your lane, trying to get up to the tower, working the minions, getting maybe a kill or two, and then working as a team. But it's very MOBA. Have you ever played any MOBAs, Gary? I mean, you were back in the day.
I was talking like some years ago. I was talking to Riot about doing some work with them, and I had to kind of like learn about League of Legends in order to do it. And so I played it for like 5 minutes, but I couldn't get into it.
Chat wants to know. Ronan Roberts says, when is Gary writing the Helldivers movie script?
It's funny because
When are you writing the movie?
I know those guys over at Sony that like do that shit, and I was joking about, hey, you should let me write a Helldivers movie.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, hell yeah, that's right. Gary,
it's fun. It's just a fun game.
You got a dope T-shirt on the chat. Says, what's your T-shirt tonight?
Oh, it's just Golden Girls.
Do we have 2 Golden Girls?
I didn't dress. This is literally what I was wearing when Tim called me. All I did was put shoes on.
Now, Parris, aren't you wearing a Golden Girls T-shirt? What are you wearing?
Oh, how weird!
Yeah.
We're both
Shit,
wearing
I gotta
Golden
buy.
Girls.
I gotta buy.
I didn't realize.
T-shirt.
Look at that.
2 gaming dads love that. Is right.
Look at that.
That's great stuff.
We're on the same page. That's probably a smart thing for Valve going more the MOBA route, right? Because as we've just seen, like it's a fucking hard marketplace.
Shit, Gary.
I still can get my head around that Concord shit. Like,
Tell us what are your thoughts on that, Gary?
I mean, so I haven't played it.
Because it's crazy, right?
I haven't played it.
Okay.
And part of the reason I didn't play it is I think among the reasons that the smart people have been saying it hasn't worked out, right? It's like it's just another one of those games. Like, why should I play this one when there's already a bunch of other ones out there, especially people that are already entrenched?
Yeah.
It's hard to get if you're already like deep into Apex or Valorant or Counter-Strike or Team Fortress or what are some of the other big ones?
Oh my God.
Overwatch.
Yep.
If you're already deep into that, it's hard to get you to move over to another game because you've got to get your whole group to come over, right? So everyone has to agree to go over there.
All my friends.
And it's the sad thing about it was it sounded like it was a decent game. People have said it's fun to play, looks good, it's a solid entry into that genre. But for a number of reasons, it just did not make a dent. Maybe it's marketing. Maybe again not enough differentiation. Because I looked at it and I was like, well, it's another one of these, right? And it's like, so what?
So what?
Like where's the what they used to call the USP, the unique selling point?
Oh,
right. Our game does this and no other game does that. Like, They didn't have anything like that they could point to.
Chad, of course, if you have any fun topics or questions for Gary and Parris, let them know while the boys sit here and hang out and have some fun. I love that.
Doesn't it seem like they just pulled the ripcord on it just like so quickly?
We were talking about that. It's just crazy that 2 weeks later, 2 weeks in, they said, no, we're done.
Yeah, and maybe that was justified by the numbers being like, and literally when you've got like, 100 or so people on Steam.
Did you see the Steam numbers?
You can't even get a game
Crazy,
because
Gary.
there's not enough people.
That's crazy,
But
though.
like, my guess, and I certainly am not the first person to say this, is that they'll bring it back, they'll rebuild the model around it, free to play, and it'll get another shot.
But will that shot be worth it?
I don't know. I mean, I think it should have been free to play to begin with because they all are now, right? Is there another shooter in that category that you have to pay money for out of the box? I don't think there is. Right, and I don't even consider that to be
correct. That's its own juggernaut, like me and Parris said. No one else.
That's not a hero shooter, and you get a whole single player campaign and
you excited
zombies
for this?
and everything
you
else.
Jump on it all?
I mean, I play every Call of Duty single player campaign. The only one I didn't play was this most recent one, Modern Warfare 3, because I was all set for it, and then I just saw a bunch of people complaining, like, if you're playing these for the story, don't bother this time because the single player campaign is not great.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer because I really like the Modern Warfare 2. I always enjoy them.
You love Soap and the boys.
They're so over the top.
What are they doing?
I love Soap. I love Captain Price. I love these guys.
I mean,
and they set up, the end of Modern Warfare 2, the return of, Makarov and like
that's like, oh shit,
the big boy is back. So I was disappointed. I mean, maybe I'll get around to playing. I just read so much negative stuff. I was like, oh geez, maybe I should just leave it alone. But I have a slight preference for the Black Ops storylines. I really like that last one with like the fake Robert Redford guy.
You're freaking out all the time. Yeah, that stuff is great.
Yeah,
man, that's right.
Yeah.
Maybe how about zombies? A little horde mode for you? Would you do zombies?
Yeah, I'll give it. I don't think I've ever played Black Ops Zombies, but I'll certainly give it a try.
All right, I'd like us to get together some zombies. The three of us one day would be fun.
When you play, do you play on PC or on Xbox?
PC.
Okay.
Yeah. I find a lot of my gaming is done on PC nowadays.
Yeah, mine.
I got the Xbox in the room, but a lot of games are just right off of Steam. I'm just playing on the PC, comfy. If I go on the couch, I'm on the Xbox, but it's a lot of PC gaming for me. What was the last Xbox game you turned on?
The last Xbox game I turned on was it was called Humanity. Have you played that?
Which one's that one?
It's on Game Pass. It's a weird.
Is that the
little
puzzle one?
It's like it's like this endless flow of people.
Yes, I love
and you've
that
got
one.
It's almost like Lemmings. You're kind of going to guide them to the safe exit. I really enjoyed that.
Love that one, Gary. That's a great one.
What was it? What was another one that I played recently? Oh, I just installed something that I heard about today. Literally for the first time today, I heard about it. I know where it's on Game Pass. It's called Star Trucker.
Oh, I saw.
And you literally play like a space trucker going from hauling cargo, and you can get into illegal shit if you want. It actually looks really fun.
I'm thinking about getting Nick Scarpino to play that with me on stream where I set up the wheel.
Damn, it's already 2?
And make him drive around.
Oh, God, that would be great.
That would be greatest, right? You said you saw Alien, which is dope. Parris, did you go see Alien yet?
No, and my daughter's been on me saying, hey, I need to go play it.
What did you think?
Or play it, go watch it, I mean.
Because I really enjoyed it, so I had a lot of fun with it. The main complaints about it that I've been seeing seem to be that like it's trying too hard to kind of be reverential to the first two films.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of moments where they do like really specific callbacks that are like, I don't know, kind of felt a little bit forced. But I'm fine with that. I didn't really mind it.
Okay.
I think they did a good job of like integrating it into the existing lore and kind of going back to basics, and that was what I liked about it. It was like a back to basics approach. It was like, we're just going to make an old school Alien film.
Love that.
With some people trapped on a fucking spaceship with an alien getting killed off, with all of the old school trappings. As soon as you hear those like old school sound effects and like the old CRT monitors,
So
and stuff, you
cool.
go, oh, this is old school Alien, and I enjoyed that. I thought it was really well done.
You ever play Alien Isolation?
No, it's one of the because here's the thing. I can't do horror games. I just can't do them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Alien Isolation would be any different, but I've had so many people saying that they like noped out of that game. I was like, yeah, it's not going to be for me.
Okay.
Isn't there like a VR version as well?
Yes, I believe you can play it in VR as well.
Oh my God, there's an app going around now for Apple Vision Pro.
Okay.
That's like an AR app. So you're walking around like your own house, but it maps, it does all the stuff where it like maps the layout of your house and it puts fucking ghosts in your house.
That's cool.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Have you been using that, Gary? I saw a guy on TikTok recently talk about his Apple Vision Pros and how he hasn't used it at all. Where's your usage?
I'm still using it. I mess around with it on fairly regularly. There's like every now and again there's a new thing worth trying. I really like the immersive video. I do think if you watch the immersive videos that they have on there, the sports stuff is really compelling. Even just for a few seconds, you see like they have this, for like courtside NBA or like on the field with an NFL game or whatever. You think, man, I would love to watch an entire game like this because you really feel like you're there at the stadium. So I think once they inevitably get to the point where they're able to do those kind of broadcasts and you can watch live sports that way.
Oh.
And it's the best way to watch a movie too. I had to watch a movie for work recently. It was like, you got to meet with this director, so you got to watch his movie. And like the easiest way for me to do it, or the best way for me to do it, was I rented it on iTunes and watched it in the Apple Vision Pro in like their cinema.
Oh, that's cool.
Thing.
That's cool. Yeah.
And like it's fucking great because it's so clear. It's 4K in each eye, right? So it's super high resolution, and it genuinely does look like you're looking at a 200-foot screen, right?
Oh shit, that's cool, Gary.
Mad. And I ended up. That's now like my preferred way to watch a movie. Is on the Vision Pro because it really does feel like being in a theater.
Parris, have you been using your Vision Pro?
Yeah.
Did you ever get one?
Same as Gary. I use it all the time.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, nice you guys. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, good use on that. That's dope.
And I've even done some productivity. I've experimented. There's a new when the new OS for it comes out, they're bringing out like a super widescreen mirror monitor that you can use. So basically, I can mirror my Mac to the Apple Vision Pro, use it like another display, and I can have like 100-inch screen or like a super panoramic, and it works in a way that a lot of the other headsets don't. It's because it's so high resolution. Text is still super clear. You can still read everything. It's easy to navigate, and so you can do the kind of Minority Report, Batman workflow kind of thing.
Yeah, I know you loved that. It's great.
Yeah, it's been fun. I've enjoyed doing that.
How about the family? How have they been? What have they been doing? Playing? School back in session? What's the vibe?
the oldest one just started 7th grade, and the youngest one is in preschool now.
Wow.
So
amazing.
Yeah, it's wacky watching them grow up. It's great though. They're both brilliant. I love them to bits.
Love that.
They
Any
are the
gaming at all, or are we just back into school flow now to start off?
The youngest is still not quite old enough to play anything.
No moments like Ben yet playing Forza at all?
No, she really likes the Bluey video game.
Oh,
super easy,
of course.
straightforward. But she's at that age now where you just give her a controller, like an unplugged one, and she'll just happily kind of like pretend to play.
That. Cool.
But the eldest is still, she got back into Roblox recently.
Okay.
She plays a lot. She likes Splatoon. I'm trying to think what else she's been playing recently. She still plays a lot of The Sims.
Got to.
Trying to think what else. She has unconventional tastes in games. She's playing something on. Oh, she fucking cleared it. DLC and everything. Cult of the Lamb. She went in and 100%ed that
Got
game,
into it.
which I thought was very impressive.
Oh,
That's cool. I like that. That's great. Parris, what about your kids? They've been playing anything lately? Anything that's wowed you or stood out?
Fortnite. My son's addicted to COD. He's been playing a lot of COD.
Dope.
But he won't play Modern Warfare 3. They all play the first one.
Huh.
That's
Really?
what him and
That's the vibe.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you try this COD beta out at all, Gary?
No, I'll wait for the. I'm happy
Wait
to wait
for the
for
release.
the finished thing. What's happening with Warzone? Is that still a thing?
Yeah, Warzone is still a thing. You'll get a new map with
Okay.
the new game, and then Verdansk is coming back, Gary.
Classic.
It's returning sometime in spring, probably, is where you can put.
I always liked Nuketown. That was always my favorite.
Well, guess what? What if I told you, Gary, that the new mini Warzone map is all about Nuketown?
Oh.
It's the factory that makes the Nuketowns.
Okay, I will 100% play that.
I think you might like that, Gary. So they got like the mannequin factory. They got the different housing facilities.
There was something like that
It's
in one of the
cool.
recent Call of Duty single-player campaigns, right? Where you went in, like you infiltrated this like facility where they had one of those Nuketowns set up. It was like a big hangar that you had to get inside.
Should we, Parris, are you good with basketball? I was going to say I have college football and soccer on this. If you want to switch.
No,
to any of those
actually,
sports.
time flies. I actually have to go.
He's got to go
soon.
Do you want to tell him
Yeah.
anything? You want to say anything to him before he goes?
I mean, it hurts my feelings.
Yeah, I mean, he just got here. It's crazy.
No, I'm always happy to see you.
When did you get in?
This morning.
Oh, okay.
This morning. There's a event I'm doing tomorrow, so I just came in early, hang out in the studio for a little bit. But no, man.
Well, it's good to see you, even if only for a short time.
No, I know. I miss this.
We're just happy you're here, is right.
Yeah, what just happened?
I pressed the button.
No.
What about you? What are you playing?
A lot of Deadlock. Deadlock took over my life.
I gotta try it. I was gonna give it a try today, and then Tim called me, and now I'm doing this.
I can't stop playing this game, Gary.
You like
I
it?
got home from DC playing Call of Duty on Friday night, and I have played Deadlock 14 hours over the weekend, if not more.
Do you think Valve has another hit?
I think they got a hit on their hands, Gary.
How far out is it from 1.0, do you think?
Man, no word on that one. No idea. I mean,
does it feel pretty solid as is?
It feels good, Gary. I mean, there's some small, like, character tweaking, but, like, that's going to come with the game no matter what with balances. But, like, Gary, this is a good game. It's a really good game. And I didn't think it
Someone
was...
said I rage quit.
I didn't think it was going to be a good game because MOBAs... Like, are people really, like, people like MOBAs, but, like, the general audience, are they going to like MOBAs? But I think having it as a third-person shooter at its core, I think is going to bring in a lot of people who would be turned off by the MOBA idea. So I think they got a hit, Gary.
I'm going to
they got a big hit. It's crazy. So that team doesn't really make that many games. They're known for big prestige titles, but they don't make many.
That's the thing. Like, when Valve makes new games so infrequently, that anytime they do something new, you got to look at it.
It's a big deal. Who's our team here, Gary? Who are we going to put our Spurs up against?
Oh, we're going to play Spurs versus a.
Yeah, who are we gonna put our Spurs up against?
Well, we've got the big derby game against Arsenal coming out. Let's do the classic rivalry.
I like that.
Spurs and Arsenal.
I like that. Okay. Who are some American teams that you like, or do you not even pay attention to them?
It's funny because I have Apple TV, I've got like season pass MLS. Like they throw that in.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
I don't watch a lot of it. Like the standard of play is just not that great. It's like watching.
Isn't it weird? It's so interesting, Gary. It is not on that. It's right.
It's I don't know what the equivalent would be in England because we have the Premier League and then the Championship, League One, League Two. It's probably like somewhere between Championship and League One quality in terms of the general standard of play. When you're used to watching, Premier League and the elite, leagues around Europe, so it just feels like you're coming down in quality.
It's in wild. I mean, at least you got Messi to watch here on the MLS.
I guess
you can see Messi run around with 10 other jabronis, but that's your one nice thing.
I think they're still struggling a little bit to get away from that. This idea that's dogged them from the beginning of it's kind of retirement home for legitimate stars who can't compete at the. I mean, Messi still could compete at the highest level if he wanted to. He chose to do this, but in most cases, you get to a point where you get to an age where you're falling off a little bit. Go to MLS or, God forbid, go to Saudi Arabia where they'll pay you a load of money. Ronaldo.
What's your favorite colorway here on this? I did 3 options. You got white, you got blue, you got gray.
Have they not updated these? This is last
year.
This is
the
last
new one's not out
strip.
yet.
Okay, all right. I don't know. Well, those are our home colors. Put us in the home colors.
You like the white?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they can play in red. I don't care.
Yeah, they play in red. That's right.
Who's at home here?
Your team is at home. Do you want to play it?
No, I'm happy just to watch.
I like that. And Parris is going to get out of here. You just showed up.
5 minutes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
What's the thing you'd want to check in with with Gary?
This looks like Arsenal Stadium.
Really?
Yes, it is Arsenal Stadium.
It is Arsenal Stadium. Yeah, that's too bad. I thought.
Oh, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
Our stadium's much better, but it doesn't matter.
Your stadium is very nice, Gary is right.
Beautiful. I went there last year and I was so blown away by it. We did the stadium tour. Oh my God! What an incredible stadium it is.
Come on, man. You were lucky to get to do that. That's right. Well, now we'll put it on. We'll let the AI do that while you and I
Christian says, "Hey, Gary Gooner here. What did you think of the Declan Rice red card?"
Oh.
I thought it was outrageous, and I thought that Arsenal got very hard done by with that. He should never have been sent off. I do think it was a refereeing disgrace. But as a Tottenham fan, I find that hilarious.
Let him know. Yeah. What happened? What went down?
Declan Rice got sent off for absolutely nothing, like kicking the ball away when it wasn't even like. If you went back, he didn't do anything wrong.
Okay.
And it was like one of these like, wait, why are you sending him off? He didn't do anything, and it should have been reviewed. It wasn't. And so Arsenal were a man down. Declan Rice now can't play in the game against Spurs next week.
No way.
Yeah, because if you get sent off, you're also banned for the next 2 games. But yeah, like everyone agrees, it was like refereeing. Like it's not one of the things where like, maybe no. Everyone's like, no, like that was an absolute disgrace. And so, I'd like to say that my heart bleeds for Arsenal fans, but again, I just think it's brilliant. Every time they have a grievance, I think it's funny. Because it's all the time. Honestly, no team in England complains more than Arsenal fans. But anytime they have a legitimate grievance, like, oh yeah, you actually did get shafted there. That's even better.
Oh, Gary,
I love that even more.
The league won't double check that and like remove that penalty. Like
no,
they suspension. They can't do that.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. They could remove the suspension, but like they hate admitting that they made mistakes. So they'll never admit that they screwed up. I think like maybe once or twice they've been compelled to do it, like issue an apology.
We love you, bro. Thanks for hanging out with us. You know that.
Gary.
We'll see you later.
See you next time.
We'll see you soon. Yep, we'll see each other soon. Have a wonderful time up here, though. Enjoy the time with everybody. Parris says goodbye, chat. Have a good time with that one. Okay, and so this match is taking place here soon. These two teams.
Yes, Arsenal and Tottenham. It's one of the most fierce derbies in European football.
Okay.
Your big ones are in England. Manchester United and Liverpool.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, to a lesser extent, Manchester United and Manchester City. You'd think that the two Manchester teams would be.
I thought that would be the marquee matchup.
But no. Manchester United and Liverpool fans fucking hate each other.
Liverpool.
And so it's a bigger. It's like who's the biggest club in the Northwest?
Of course.
And of course the answer is these days neither of them. It's Manchester City. But it's a very, very, very ugly rivalry between those two.
Okay.
And then Tottenham and Arsenal's another big one. And then there are various other like smaller ones. But the two biggest derbies in the UK would probably be considered Man United and Liverpool, and Tottenham and Arsenal. Liverpool and Everton, but again, like there's such a gulf between those two teams.
Yeah.
Like when Manchester United and Liverpool play, maybe not so much these days, but then there's the expectation that either team could win. Same with Tottenham and Arsenal. Liverpool and Everton is usually just going to be an absolute fucking slaughter. Everton, you want to talk about a team that's in the shit right now. Oh my God. Absolute disgrace. They were 2-0 up against, who was it, Bournemouth or Brighton? I can't remember who it was this week. They were 2-0 up, 86 minutes in, 4 minutes to play, and they ended up losing 3-2. They gave up 3 goals in the last 10 minutes.
That's crazy, Gary. That's crazy.
That's what we call bottling it.
That's definitely folding like a lawn chair is right, Gary. Okay, and so those would be the two rivalries. If you were like, hey, if you could go out and see a really good game, you want to check out these rivalries.
I don't think there's a discussion about whether or not derbies necessarily produce the best games and the best football.
Okay.
There's reasons you can make there's arguments why they don't, because both teams tend to be maybe a little bit more cautious.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But in terms of like the vibe around the game and the rivalry, like they have to make special accommodations for the fans to be let out at different times and things like that.
No way, really?
Yeah. Like usually they'll hold the away fans in, because there's a separate away section. They'll usually hold them for a little bit and let the home fans disperse, then let the away fans go.
Smart.
Because you just don't want trouble outside the ground.
Of course. Okay.
Do you have any really bitter rivalries in American sports, like teams that hate each other?
Back in the day, there's probably a couple. I think your biggest ones were the Dodgers and the Giants here on the baseball. If you remember, that man died in the parking lot from a bunch of jabronis being idiots.
That was terrible.
Do you remember that? Yeah. So that's where my mind goes to, is you have that, but
wait, you say Giants and who?
Giants and the Dodgers.
Yo, your Giants and Dodgers.
Yes.
I know hate
LA
each other.
and San Francisco would be my two big ones. Yeah. Yankees, Red Sox, but nothing that I see here in the States rivals the vibe of what I would see across the way with you guys. And like that kind of like screaming, shouting, the chants, that kind of energy doesn't seem to be matched here. It's more like all of a sudden there's people scuffling in the parking lot for no apparent reason because you're wearing black and orange and not blue and white.
Right.
What a weird thing. A lot of weird people out there. College football probably has the most. I like that.
Oh, yeah, because all the scores are kind
Of
there's
course.
rivalries between all the different colleges.
Someone says Celtics, Lakers, but like you don't see the energy in the crowd with that.
Yeah, that's true. And then speaking of that, obviously up in Scotland, Glasgow Celtic and Glasgow Rangers, that's probably the most passionate, fierce rivalry, I would say, arguably in all of sports, because it bleeds into religion.
Yeah.
Because
oh wow, okay.
I'm going to get this wrong, but I think I'm right. That Celtic is the Catholic team and Rangers is the Protestant team.
Okay.
And so it breaks down along like religious lines, and so it just makes it. There's so much like shit that's baked into that. Yeah.
Okay. And what about your team now? So the season has started here?
Yeah, we just started. I think we're in match week 3 weeks in.
Have you been catching games? How's the flow
Yeah,
been for you
I've
life-wise?
been watching. I mean, right now, the familiar patterns are already emerging. Liverpool look very strong. Manchester City look very strong. United are shit. Chelsea, nobody quite seems to know what's going on with them. Like it feels like that could go either way. Spurs off to a middling start. Arsenal off to a strong start.
Okay.
Who am I missing? And that's it for like the top teams.
Who are your players to watch on your team? Let's talk about your team. Who's the guy to watch?
I mean, Son is our star player. It was Harry Kane. Arguably, Harry Kane and Son kind of shared those honors. Harry Kane went to Bayern Munich. I feel bad for Harry because, he's one of the best players in the world, but he's never won anything, right? Because he's been at Spurs all this time. England's never won anything either. He doesn't have a trophy. Doesn't have a trophy. So he got tired of it. He's saying, "Fuck it, I'm going to go to Bayern Munich." They win every year. He went. The 1 year they didn't win.
No shit.
It's the first time in like 10 years that Bayern Munich didn't win the Bundesliga.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Maybe he's cursed.
Nutty.
That's crazy.
But Son is considered the star player. Basically on talent, he's just an incredible goal scorer. He scored a goal against Burnley a few seasons ago that won what's known as the Puskas Award. And the Puskas Award is the award they give to the person who scored the best goal in the world at any level, anywhere in the world that year. So it's like the absolute best goal.
That's a big deal.
And whenever
sick.
you see like the Puskas Award candidates, they're all like absolute fucking bangers.
Were they killer shots?
Well, either killer shots or just amazing individual efforts or whatever. It might just be a bit of flair. But within Son's goal, what happened with Son's goal was he picked up the ball outside his own area, ran the whole fucking length of the pitch with the ball at like 100 because he's so fast, beat like 8 men. I mean, 7 or 8 defenders just like either couldn't keep up with him or like slid past him, or he went right through him and then just slotted it into the bottom corner, literally the entire length of the pitch. And it's this incredibly seamless run. And he just goes by these players like they're not even there. And then, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, just absolutely like threads it into the bottom corner. And I remember thinking when I saw it, it's like, that's the best goal that's going to be scored this year.
Oh, that's cool.
And he won the
When do they give that award away?
At the end of the season.
End of the season, okay.
They'll have some kind of award in. They have like the footballers of the year, the Ballon d'Or is like for the best footballer overall, and that always goes to like a Messi or Ronaldo or something like that. But the Puskas Award is specifically for just the best goal.
That's sick.
Yeah, I don't know who the contenders are for this. Who the most recent winner was. Son was, I think, like 3 years ago he won it. But if you ever get a chance to watch that on YouTube, it really is incredible. I never get tired of watching it.
Let's jump into the chat because Hagfish has a question for you.
Yeah.
Gary, do you think that the Wrexham story is kind of cool? I've been enjoying the doc on TV and find myself rooting for them, but it's only going to get harder, especially if they make it out of League One. Have you kept track of it all?
I haven't watched any of the show.
Okay.
But I have kept track of the story. I know there are some people out there that are very cynical about it, saying like, "Oh, they're only doing this to make content and they want to get a reality show out of it." But from what do these Americans know? They don't really care. And I think that's a lot of these kind of celebrity fans or whatever, or billionaire owners of clubs that aren't really in it for the football or the community aspect of it. Because you have to remember, I think probably even more so than American sports, although I don't want to denigrate this aspect of American sports, but like football clubs in England are not just sports stadiums. They are like really like anchor pieces for the community.
Yeah, of
right?
course,
and,
of course.
And especially at the lower level, like it's where everybody goes. It's like our church, right? And so when you mess around with a football club, like that goes to the heart of the community, and people get really pissed off. We've seen many examples of this, of like club owners that are hated because they're not operating in the best interests of the club.
Yeah.
In terms of what Ryan and Rob are doing, I see them doing everything right. They fucking show up. They're at the games. They've invested in the club. I think the show, from what I've heard, is actually really good. It's put a spotlight on a team that most people never would have heard of.
Never.
And they've been promoted fucking 2 seasons in a row. Like you can't argue with the success. I don't know what it is, if it's that they've put a lot of money into the club or they've just lifted the spirits over there, but like they went into there like with the deck stacked against them, right? Kind of small town in Wales. Here come two like, Hollywood superstars going, we're going to run this club. Like everyone was very like, not too sure about this.
Go well,
but it seems like, ask any Wrexham fan if they're happy with what's going on. I think they would say, fuck yeah.
I hope so.
Because,
yeah, I think so.
I think it's done nothing but good things. It's brought a lot of money into the club, a lot of recognition. Again, clear success. Like being promoted 2 years in a row that's not nothing. That's a big deal. Yeah, maybe they'll hit a ceiling. Like eventually, they'll hit a ceiling where maybe like we're out of our depth. But they went from non-league football to League One. That's
big deal.
Huge. I got nothing but good things because it seems like with those two guys, again, it's easy to dismiss them because they're like Hollywood, gallivanting,
of course,
kind of guys. But like, you see them at the games all the time. They're fucking there. And it feels to me genuinely like their heart is in the right place. And when they say like we really we're in this club and we feel the passion of the community and we want to give back, I want to believe it. Like I want to believe that they actually think that stuff.
What are some other good feel-good stories that you've seen in the football league over there over your lifetime? From players to teams, has there been any stories where you're like, oh, that was a moment?
Oh, so many. Leicester City winning the Premier League a few years ago, odds of 500 to 1 was pretty amazing. And it was Spurs that they beat to win the league. But you got to hand it to them. Nobody seriously thought Leicester City as like title contenders. Is
that the team with the Fox logo?
Yes, the Foxes.
Nice.
They are called the Foxes. In the history of the Premier League, like 30-something years now that it's been around, it's only ever been won by a handful of clubs, right?
Wow.
The Blackburn Rovers won it very early in the history of the Premier League. But it's usually Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal that win the Premier League. Chelsea, obviously. So any team outside of what's considered the Big Six winning it is crazy. And it was an amazing feel-good story where like you just had to be happy for them because they were nobodies. And they had at the heart of the team this guy called Jamie Vardy who's still playing, who a couple of years ago was just was playing like kickabout football, playing non-league Sunday league football. And I can't remember what happened to him, but he got discovered and ended up being like this talismanic striker, plays for England now, one of the best strikers in the Premier League, getting on a bit in years, but can still do it. He skinned us a couple of weeks ago at Spurs. But yeah, that's just, and Claudio Ranieri, who was the manager at the time, was just a very well-liked guy. There was just so much around that. Like, you want to root for the underdog, right? Like, underdog stories are popular globally, which is why the Wrexham story is cool, which is why Leicester City was cool, Miracle on Ice, you name it, right? We love to see underdogs win things. My favorite, I saw one recently. Do you see this thing from the Paralympics? It was I can't remember what event it was. It was a track event, but the Ukrainian runner won it. And the two so-called neutral athletes from Russia, because they won't let Russia compete under their flag, came second and third. And so the Russian athletes had to stand there on the podium listening to the Ukrainian national anthem while the guy was singing it, the guy that won, and like they looked so fucking unhappy about it.
Beautiful.
I thought that was wonderful.
That's great stuff. I like that, Gary is right. Yeah, good underdog story we always root for. And so how do you feel about your team this year? Do they have a chance? Are they in the middle of the pack? What are they doing?
The thing about Tottenham was, I have a friend of mine about 2 years ago. She said, I want to get into Premier League football, but I obviously need to pick a team. Because when you're growing up in England, like your team is naturally just like where you grew up.
Your city, yeah.
Like Tottenham's my team because that's where I grew up. I grew up like 2 tube stations from the ground, and my dad supported Tottenham and his dad before him. So you just kind of inherit it. I've been a Spurs fan all my life. Like I didn't choose it; it chose me. But Americans who decide they want to get into Premier League football, right, have to make a choice, right? They might have a family association or something, but sometimes they'll just pick like, oh, I like their kit.
Yeah, of
or
course.
that I like that player. Or most of the time it's like, well, they seem to win a lot. Like most American Premier League fans that you'll meet, if you say, I guarantee if you found any American Premier League fan on the street who's American, 9 times out of 10, if you ask them who they support, they're going to say Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal. They're not going to say Aston Villa. They're not going to say Ipswich Town. They're not going to say Crystal Palace because those fuckers don't win anything.
Yeah,
Americans like to win things.
They do.
Right?
That's why
So
they like the
if you have
Patriots.
so I'm stuck with Spurs, right? I haven't won anything in a long time, but like, I don't get to change. I'm stuck with it. Whereas, you have the luxury of saying, when you pick, you'd say, well, these guys have won the league like 4 times out of the last 5 years. I should follow them, right? Because I'll be happy. I want to see them win. I don't want to see them lose.
I'll see the best games possible. I assume that's what's going to be.
Yeah, you want to see Champions League football, right? Competing against the best in the world.
What is the recommendations for people out there who are watching in the States? How do they get on board? What is the channel that they need to have? What time do they have to wake up? Like, how is the best viewing experience possible in the States?
I got to say, when I first came out here, I moved out here a few years after the Premier League started in the mid-90s. And it used to be that there wasn't much in the way of, you just had the World Cup in the USA '94.
Yes.
But I don't think MLS had started yet, and there was maybe it just started, but there wasn't enough interest in it, and you'd have to go to a pub at 6 o'clock in the morning that paid to have it via. There used to be this company called Setanta Sports.
Okay.
And they broadcast the games. You couldn't afford. It was like a subscription thing that only pubs and places
of course.
they had a public performance license. And you would go to the pub and watch these games at all hours of the morning. This is what we did with the World Cup as well. But now, NBC Universal own all the rights.
Okay.
And I got to say, they actually do a really good job. Their coverage is excellent. They have good analysts. They have smart people on there. So you either need, if you really want to be able to watch it all, you got to get Peacock because a lot of the games are on Peacock.
Peacock is the one? Okay.
Yeah. But sometimes the games are on NBC proper if it's a really big game. Sometimes they're on USA, which is owned by NBC as well.
Okay.
But most of the games are on.
So what
Peacock.
time are you waking up? What is this?
It depends.
What's this
It depends
window?
on the game. For me, it can be anywhere between 4 o'clock in the morning. In which case, fuck that.
That's what a Saturday afternoon game we'll call it. Essentially, is what
yeah.
it would
So
be over there.
the early kickoff at noon would be 4 a.m. for me.
That's tough.
Right. Most games kick off at 3 p.m., which is like 7 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
I'll get up for that.
Yeah.
But the 4 o'clock ones, I'll just tape it and watch it.
Okay.
I get up in the morning, avoid looking at any social media, so the score. I don't want the score to be spoiled, and I'll watch it on watch it kind of 2 hours afterwards. But dragging myself out of bed at 4 o'clock ain't gonna happen.
What about night games? They have night games. You said 3 o'clock and noon. What about a night game?
they have some night games. So every now and again you will.
Is that like a weekly thing where it's like a Sunday?
Yeah,
night football?
usually on Monday nights they'll do an 8 o'clock game, which is noon my time.
Not bad.
And then if you watch the Champions League, apart from the final, in fact, it's sometimes maybe including the final, they're all at night.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah, under the lights, and it's a different vibe.
Cool. I like that.
When you under the floodlights, you just know that you're watching this is the elite football.
This is the most magical game on earth.
Known for playing at night under the floodlights, and it just Champions League is like nothing else.
The Big Fern writes in and says, Gary, do you like the Great writes in, says, do you enjoy Tim Howard's commentary?
Yeah, I like Tim. I think he's good. There's a lot of bullshit commentators out there. Don't get me started on Alexi Lalas, who we all had to fucking sit through again during the World Cup. Honestly,
Jabroni, you don't like that guy?
100% jabroni. He acts like he's such a fucking expert.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he was a mediocre player on a mediocre team that happened to be in the right place at the right time with the right look. It was, again, like mid-90s when the USA hosted the World Cup, so they qualified. Host qualifies automatically.
Yes.
So they were there. There was a lot of interest because it was the first time the Cup had been held in the US.
Okay.
Right, and the second time it's
So
going to be
it's all going in his favor right now.
This next one coming up, it's coming back, and because he had the bright, crazy orange hair, he stood out as a character, right? But if you actually go ask anyone who watched him back, he wasn't a particularly good footballer. He wasn't even close to being one of the standout players on that team. He just had a distinctive look.
Right time.
Because he had this shocker, carrot top, bright orange hair. and he's parlayed that somehow into decades of just talking absolute shit.
Being the face.
Like, I literally go back, you can see compilations of it on YouTube, like he's sitting there talking about something, and you can see the other commentators sitting there going like, the fuck are you talking about?
Damn, that's crazy, Gary.
I think he's kind of embraced his role as a troll. I think he kind of, it's like, you just
Big
scored?
goal.
Oh, Richarlison.
Come on.
Gets in there.
Nice corner.
Brazil's number 9. Richarlison arguably scored, I don't remember who won it, but he arguably scored the best goal of the last World Cup.
No shit.
Oh my God,
Okay.
It was incredible. I wish you could do that for us more often.
That's big.
That's
right
how
there.
Richarlison scores, though. He scores with his head.
I like that. That's
Yep.
a good one.
Yeah.
What about Beckham? Were you ever a fan of Beckham?
Oh, of course. I mean,
you know what I mean? I
what's-
think of
what's
some
not-
of the big names, right? Were
Let me
a
tell
fan
you
of
something.
Beckham?
I remember he gave me one of my greatest ever sporting memories, and I'm gonna fuck up the which year it was. I think it was
Okay.
'98. It was World Cup qualification. It was either for World Cup or European qualification. And I'm sorry that my memory's not great on this. Someone in the chat will correct me. It came down to 2001. There you go. I don't know what it is. It came down to the last kick of the game, right? Against Greece.
Okay.
And the way that the tables is the last game in the qualification, the way that the tables and the scores worked out was like we needed to score a goal,
Oh, okay.
right? You score a goal, you're gonna go to the World Cup.
Gotta have it.
If you don't score a goal, you ain't going. So like, imagine the pressure stepping up to take that kick.
Oh, no way.
And it was just out. It was maybe 10 yards outside the area. So like perfect for where for a player like Beckham or Messi, like that's all day. That's what they
No way.
That's where they shoot.
Okay,
from.
okay.
So it's like, oh man, like it was so fucking scripted for Hollywood because it was, like I said, it was right where you'd expect it to be. It was so late into extra time that this was clearly the referee was going to blow after this. So he's like, this is
Okay.
it. You one
Okay.
last shot. And it was like tailor-made for Beckham. He's like, man, he scores these all the time. He has to slot this. Like, imagine the pressure. He steps up to the ball. I remember me and my English friends were all like literally just like standing up, just like, come on. I was so desperate. And he steps up to the ball and he fucking screamed it into the top corner. Just
No
absolute
shit.
fucking bullet. And the roof came off the place. I don't know, that might be Beckham's greatest moment as he did some amazing things at Manchester United as well. But like, he scored a goal for Manchester United from the halfway line one time that was absolutely
That's
nutty.
amazing. That's
oh my
cool.
God.
Did you ever have a foot back in the day? Were you playing on the pitch?
I mean, I played at school and I played Sunday league football in my 20s, but I was never any good.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever have dreams of wanting to do this? Like, did you ever say to yourself, like, I want to be a pro? I want to play all the time.
I think every English kid grows up thinking that for like a minute or two. But I've never been athletically inclined. I was always like the nerdy kid that was trying to get out of PE because I sucked at it. I've just never been like physically like very. Oh my God. Oh, fucking hell.
Tough.
Who was that? Trossard again? Anchor.
How about the celebrations? Do you like the celebrations?
It's Havertz. They do an amazing. I just said they do an amazing job with these games.
Yeah. What I mean, like the real life celebrations. What would be yours? Is it the suey like Ronaldo? Would you do the slide on your knees?
I don't like the Sue. I don't like Harry Kane's thing that he does.
Okay, what does he do?
He just kind of does like he jumps in the air and he like stabs the ground. I'm not quite sure what that's about.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember some like famous. There's been some good ones over the years.
How about running with your T-shirt off?
What about it?
What do you think about that? I just always find it odd of like, we're in the middle of a game and you've ripped your T-shirt off and you're running around.
You can get booked for that.
Yeah, it feels like it's just like, that's like something you do if you win the game.
Oh, Son one-on-one with the keeper and he couldn't slot it.
Gary.
In real life, he would not have missed that.
That was
the game fucked up there.
Damn, the video game missed that.
Son does not miss those. Yeah, so I always thought that was one of the dumbest ones. The dumbest things you can get booked for is like excessive celebration.
Yeah, of course. That was like when T.O. was dry humping the air and there were like too many pumps.
Right.
You couldn't
right.
pump.
Or
3
sometimes they'll
times.
take their shirt off and there'll be another shirt underneath with like a logo or a
message.
statement
Yeah,
or something.
uh-huh.
Sometimes it's political. They don't like that.
Of course. Gary's invested in the game now. Yes, we're heading into halftime here, a 2-1 game at Arsenal.
I mean, so far this is not unrealistic. Like this is like where you could easily imagine this being the scoreline of these two teams at halftime at Arsenal.
You have the best stadium around. We know that.
I think
Your team.
I went. So we used to play at a stadium called White Hart Lane.
Okay.
Which was a great stadium, but it was very old. It was falling
Was
apart.
that your childhood stadium?
Yeah, that's where I went.
That was the one.
Used to go to White Hart Lane, and so they built an entirely new stadium, basically on the same footprint of the old one.
Okay.
So it's essentially in the same location as the old White Hart Lane used to be, but now it's called Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and I think they spent $2 billion on it. And it really is. Like I said,
this is the new one.
When I was back in England recently, I wasn't able to see a game because Spurs were playing away that week. I'd love to have gone to see a match, but they were somewhere. I think they're not Nottingham Forest. But they do these stadium tours where it's like because it's just as a piece of architecture, as a piece of like as a stadium, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
And like they do this thing where you walk out into the bowl for the first time. And it just takes your breath away. What a beautiful.
What are some other stadiums that you love out there? That's not your own stadium.
In England?
Yeah, that you love. That you're like, man, this is a good stadium.
I mean, Anfield definitely has like a crazy energy to it. I actually like Goodison Park, which is where Everton play. It's an old stadium, but it's all about the energy. It's all about like the atmosphere that the fans create.
Okay.
I like smaller ones. When I lived in Bath for a few years, when I was working on PC Gamer, we used to go see Bath City play. At for a period they didn't have their own ground, so they would play at Bristol Rovers ground. They would do like a ground share with them, and that's a much smaller stadium. But there's also something that feels kind of more like grassroots and
authentic
about
yeah,
that,
that's
like
the ones that
proper
get me.
football.
Yeah. Talking about PC Gamer really quick. Thoughts on Game Informer shutting down? What's up with that?
I think it's sad to see another print title go, but at some point I think it becomes, inevitable. I'm actually amazed there are any print titles left. It amazes me that. I guess it's like a point of pride for me because I helped launch it. But the fact that the PC Gamer still has a print issue.
Wow.
30 years
That's
on.
amazing.
I had to write a thing recently because they just did their 30th anniversary issue. And they went back to all their old editors and had them write like a little retrospective. And I actually got quite nostalgic writing a little thing about it.
Yeah.
But it's sad. But you can kind of understand why. I think people still like paging through magazines.
Every time I go to an airport, I still look for a video game magazine, and I'm let down.
I mean, what's left?
I don't know. I don't think there's any that I know of. I used to grab the OXMs, the Xbox.
Are there any print video game magazines left in the US post game?
Chat, let us know.
I don't think there are.
Capricorn writes in.
PC Gamer, I think, is only still in print in the UK.
Okay.
Edge is still going strong, which is still a great magazine, but
more
that's
techie,
in the
though?
UK. No, not more techie, just kind of like a bit like they've always kind of made themselves like the kind of the highbrow.
Oh, interesting.
Magazine, high production values, always beautiful covers, high quality writing, and they're still going. But the newsstand print, like if you go to the UK, go to London, anywhere really, and go look at like a newsstand, you'll see so many more magazines than you do here in the US.
Yeah.
The magazine industry is still kind of okay there, but in the US, it's been in the toilet for
people are
quite a
still
while.
giving you Edge. One Royal Martin writes in with Lock On still exists.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of Lock On. Capricorn writes in and says, no Space Marine review, looking like it's a GOTY contender. Capricorn, no, I did not review the game because I wanted to stream it live here on Twitch with all of you. So you will not get a review from me. You will get to see it live, played on stream. So we will play that very soon.
As a Helldivers fan, I've had half an eye on that.
I was going to say, what are your thoughts?
I don't know, is it supposed to be good?
I think it's going to be really fun, Gary. I'm really excited.
What kind
I know
of game is
reviews
it?
are coming out. I think Gears of War.
Okay,
Third person over the
third
shoulder. It's going to be real gritty, like a lot of killing and stuff. Chainsaw,
Yeah, I mean,
it
looks good to me. I'll check it out.
3 players together, so 3-player co-op.
Oh, we got to get on there.
We can get on that, and a little mix of PvP as well.
Yeah.
If you want that kind of vibe. So yeah, this is like looking like it could be a really fun package. I'm excited.
All right, well, if you
boom, big goal to
is
tie it up 2-2.
Is it Sonny? Yeah, it was. He's the man.
He is the man right there.
Yeah, there he is.
Oh,
Every
I like that.
Yep.
Little snap a picture. I like that.
Yep.
What's up with the gloves? Just keep your hands warm?
Yeah, hands get cold.
Okay. I like that.
Players that aren't, especially like you'll see like oftentimes like South American players that will come from like warmer countries in Europe come here, aren't used to the cold weather.
Yeah.
So they'll wear like the sleeves and the gloves and
Smart.
stuff.
Yeah, smart. Yeah, so they're starting the season now, which means we're heading into fall.
Yes.
So will they play in winter, quote unquote, where snow could be a factor, or is that not a non-factor?
They play right through winter. They play games on Christmas Eve, on New Year's Day, Boxing Day. They'll play right through, but snow is less of a problem now than it used to be. I mean, I'm old enough to remember like when they would play, like you had to bring out an orange ball.
No shit, they would play in the snow.
They would play like...
That's cool.
I remember Spurs playing in the snow one time. They had to call the game off because the snow was coming down so hard. Eventually it was like
no
6 inches deep, and it was like, well, this ain't working. But yeah, they used to have an orange ball when there was snow on the ground.
That's amazing.
But now, so I mean, that might still be a problem like at some lower league grounds, Northern England, where it gets colder, or in Scotland. But like all of these pitches now have like underfloor heating.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
And so like the
cool.
the snow doesn't even get a chance to settle, even if it does come down.
You ever thought about becoming the groundskeeper for one of these teams and getting to be the grass guy?
I tell you something. I read a piece
job.
recently about these groundskeepers. Because these pitches at this elite level are manicured and kept in such amazing conditions, and the groundskeepers that work at these like elite clubs. I mean, you can see how perfectly kind of the lines are mowed into it, and everything's geometrically perfect, and like you get to a point where like these aren't just like fucking groundskeepers; these are like scientists.
Correct.
Who know exactly where to order the turf from, how to take care of it. They'll pull it up and remove it. They do all kinds of amazing stuff. You don't see this, but like because when we did the Tottenham tour, because they weren't playing that day. They had these massive, like they.
Oh, you showed me the photos.
Yeah, remember these massive
the sprinklers,
lights?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't just sprinklers; it was sprinklers and lights and heat lamps and things like that
That's
to keep
cool.
the just like the perfect environment for the pitch to be healthy. And you got to remember this pitch is getting torn up all the time, right? Players running around.
How do you repair it? How do you save it?
I mean, you can see it a little bit here. Like you'll notice that
the divots and all that. Yeah, the rips.
It starts to get a bit torn up.
Benny Be Good writes in and says, Gary, no one in America knows what Boxing Day is. What is Boxing Day?
The day after Christmas Day.
The day after Christmas Day? Why do they call it Boxing Day?
A Canadian could tell you that as well.
Okay.
I don't know the true reason.
Yeah.
We used to joke about like it was the day that you put all the ship gifts that you didn't want back in the box.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know why they call it Boxing Day, but it's well in England you grow up knowing it as that, and in Canada you do as well.
Do you miss it, Gary? Do you miss the culture being over there? The vibes? The
Sometimes.
Cities, the areas? Do you miss
Sometimes.
it?
I was back in, and whenever I go back, I miss it. I was back in London recently, and I was like, oh my God, it truly is one of the great cities of the world. I absolutely love it.
Do you ever think take the family 4 years over there? Just live for 4 years, enjoy it?
We'll see what happens after this election. But,
okay.
The nice thing is that both of my kids are British citizens by birthright, because I'm a British citizen. I don't think...
Wow, Gary, that was crazy.
Is that fucking Werner? Because that's what I expect from Timo Werner. Yeah, I like the idea. I like the idea of like maybe retiring in England one day.
Okay.
But like years down the road.
Yeah.
There's like I'm talking with a company right now about maybe making a TV show in London. So I would necessarily spend
some time there. Yeah, that'd be cool.
No, I'm always happy to. I don't get to go back often enough. Both my parents are passed on. I kind of lost touch with a lot of my friends in the UK.
Yeah, you got friends over there or what?
Yeah, I mean, so like, there's a handful of people I always, will make time to see.
Okay.
I had a really nice time when I was back there. I was back there at Christmas, walking around like Oxford Street it's all lit up at night with the Christmas lights, and London's such a beautiful city. It really is amazing, and I do miss it sometimes.
Slushy writes in and says, Boxing Day was once a day to donate gifts to those in need, but has evolved to become part of the Christmas festivities, with many people choosing to shop for deals on Boxing Day.
Well, now you know.
Now I know Boxing Day. Gary, what's the best town and city out there to spend a winter holiday at? Who's got the lights? Who's got the vibes? Similar to what you saw up in Tahoe. Who's got that winter wonderland vibe?
I mean, London's very, very good for that.
Yeah, they got it?
England? Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very good for that. There isn't I don't think there's like a particular part or city or town in England that's like known for being especially Christmassy. But like if you walk around the West End of London at Christmas time, they light it up big time, and it really is very, very.
Whoa! Outside the box!
Is that Basuma? Who was that?
Wow, Gary, that was a dot right there.
Oh, Vandersar.
What's some of the terms? You said slot. You know what I mean? Do they call it top shelf? cheddar cheese dangles.
Yeah, there's a
What do they
lot.
use? What's the word?
There's a lot of stupid like football terminology that
Yeah.
it's evolved over the years, like things you used to say but you don't say so much anymore.
Okay, what was some of the stuff you grew up with? What were some of the hot sayings?
So they used to. Funny the things that come to your mind. Like back in the days before like sports medicine and like physiotherapy was like taken really seriously. You used to have this thing called the magic sponge.
Okay.
I'll see if anyone in chat room is old enough to remember this. But basically, when a player went down with like took an injury, they would bring out the physio. Who was just like a fat guy in a tracksuit.
Awesome.
Like this guy doesn't know anything, and he would just like get a wet sponge and like just dab it on the like that's it. It's like
You're
the
back.
player, the magic sponge had done its thing.
People are saying screamer.
Yeah, I mean
still used a screamer.
They're still that's still around. There's a lot of terms that like have evolved that like weren't around when I was a kid. Oh come on, Son doesn't miss these. There
Gotta
you go.
have it.
Doesn't miss them.
That's easy.
4-2 Tottenham Hotspur.
But this team's
on a
hot
fucking
right now.
roll.
Turned it on here in the second half.
Look at this. Look at this. This is the way it should be. And it's at Arsenal as well, so all these Arsenal fans have to watch.
Gotta go home.
This is correct because like 99.999 times out of 100 he scores that.
Who's your Mount Rushmore of soccer players? Past and present.
World?
Yeah, whatever you want it to be.
So what am I picking 4?
Yeah, I'll give you a fifth as well.
Who do I think are the four?
Top
Who do I think are the
five,
4 greatest players in history?
Yeah. Who's your Mount Rushmore?
Holy fuck.
Who's your Mount Rushmore?
Pele.
Okay.
Diego Maradona.
Okay.
I think you got to say Messi.
Okay.
And then the 4th one.
Who's the 4th,
I don't
Gary?
know.
Who are you putting up there? You got some veterans. You got some new age now.
And it's really hard because there are so many truly great ones.
He will put Ronaldo ?
No, I mean that's the easy one, and I think he's definitely in the conversation, but it's not who I would. There's a lot of recency bias with this, where like, you're going to pick the players that you've seen and you know. But you have to remember, football's been around a long time. There's a lot of people that love football now. They probably never even saw like Johan Cruyff play. Johan Cruyff is one of the greatest players of all time. He could be on that list.
Okay.
Okay. So it's tricky. It's a generational thing.
Yeah, that's a big part of the question.
Yeah,
right?
but like I don't think anyone would argue. The only 2 that I think nobody would argue with is Pele and Maradona.
They're in.
Yeah, 100%.
They're
And I think Messi is a bit of a shoe-in as well.
Okay.
Recency bias and everything. But man, there have been some great players.
Here's a fun one. Seth Sanders writes in with the super chat. It says, "Hey Gary, just got done listening to Gundog on Spotify and wanted to say how good it was."
Oh, I appreciate that.
Congratulations, Gary, and thank you for listening to Gundog
The audio
and supporting
version of that did quite well in the end.
Yeah, that's nice.
Like
that's
we
great.
were like #1 in various podcast charts around the world.
Sick.
Yeah, it did really
That's
well.
awesome, Gary.
Yeah, I was really pleased with it.
Yeah, when I met Dr. Lupo, he was laughing about how much fun he had on Animal Talking.
Oh my God.
And I was laughing just thinking like, man, Gary's done some cool stuff.
I was just thinking about Animal Talking the other day.
He was talking
I forget about it for a long time. Next year is going to be the 5th anniversary of it.
Jesus, Gary, still feels like yesterday. That's crazy.
I want to talk to Adam about it, like putting together like a compilation of all the best
Yeah,
hits
that'd be
from the
cool.
best shows.
That'd be really cool.
We had some great times on that show.
Oh my God, Gary, you've done so much cool stuff. Loodle, don't forget about Loodles out there.
Still going.
Just amazing stuff.
Banned on the Google Play Store now.
No way.
But still
really?
available on the Apple App Store.
Okay,
yeah.
well, there we go. I like that. Is right, Gary.
Yeah. Makes a little bit of money every month. Not much, but enough to keep the lights on.
I love that. I watched. Off the post.
This is actually a bit of a thriller. We're
having a good game right here.
6-goal thriller already.
Still plenty of time left in the game too.
Oh shit.
That's in the.
Do you know what? I'll give you, here's if you want to bluff your way through a football match. Do you know what a worldie is?
No, what's that?
So if somebody scores an incredible goal,
okay,
and someone says that's a worldie, that's because they mean that's a world-class goal.
That's a world-class goal.
Yeah,
worldie.
That's a goal.
Okay.
That's a goal that anybody at the highest level of world football would be happy to
appreciate
score. Yeah.
That's a worldie right there.
A worldie.
Okay.
That's a good one for you.
Gary, I love watching this YouTuber called Away Days. This kid goes around the globe and watches different soccer games in all these different areas.
Okay.
But also teams up with a local sports store and goes over there and they talk about jerseys and they bring on big influencers and they go down across all the aisles and look at old school jerseys of football kids.
Oh my God, I used to collect them.
And the kids tell the stories of what they collected, what they grew up with. What are some of your old school football kits that make you smile that you wish you had or that you still have?
I mean, I wish I had some of my old Spurs kits from back in the day. You can still buy them. Like they sell them as like retro kits now from like the 80s and stuff. I had a they finally brought it back this year, but like Spurs used to play in their away kit. They used to play in either sky blue or yellow. And they don't do that such a thing. But I'd like the old kit. My favorite one, and I think it's a favorite of my generation, is the England football kit from the 1982 World Cup.
Okay,
it's very distinctive. People still wear it. It was just like this really well known kit. It's actually not particularly. It's a little bit ugly. Oh, he goes Son again! Oh, come on, he doesn't do that.
Couldn't get it.
That's the game fucking up. The algorithm fucked up there. The real Son would have done better there. Like he doesn't miss. Like I guarantee that maybe the keeper saves it, but he does not miss. That's ridiculous. The 1982 England kit is probably a fan.
If you were to
favorite.
Put one up on let's say your office, you got a beautiful office.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to your nice office. If you were to put two jerseys up, what would be the kits?
I'd put the 82 Admiral kit up.
Okay.
And probably the Spurs home kit from 81 or 82 when we won the FA Cup, because that was like the first kit that I ever had when I was like 10 years old.
Yes, this is the site, classicfootballshirts.com.
Nice.
So there's two stores. They even have a pop-up in New York, but the kid will show up with the different influencer or celebrity, and they'll just walk through all of it and just comb through all the jerseys, and the person will tell stories about it, and then he gives you a $500 credit. They buy it, whatever. But
right.
There's super rich celebrities. They can buy their own jerseys. It doesn't matter.
What does squeaky bum time mean? There's a good one.
Yeah,
Do you know what squeaky bum time means?
That's when Paul Pierce shit his pants in the NBA Finals and had to get wheel carted off. I believe that's what happened. What is squeaky bum time?
So squeaky bum time, I still use it all the time, but I always have to explain it to people. It is a phrase that was coined by Alex Ferguson, the legendary Manchester United manager who presided over the most successful period in their history.
Okay.
And is still, very much beloved and considered one of the great football managers of all time. If you had to make a list of like the top 5 football managers in history, like the managerial Mount Rushmore,
okay,
Sir Alex Ferguson would have to be on that list.
I like that.
And he obviously did incredible things. But he was also known for being a bit of a colourful character, short-tempered. Didn't suffer fools gladly. Used to do this thing called the hairdryer.
Okay.
And so basically, like the Manchester United would do poorly at up until the first half, and then he would come out second half and they'd play much better.
Yeah.
It's because Sir Alex gave him what's known as the hairdryer.
Okay.
Where he fucking shouts at you so much that it like blows your hair.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Okay.
But no, squeaky bum time was like basically the last. When I was talking about David Beckham having to score that goal and it was like all or nothing. That's squeaky bum time.
Oh, okay.
Because you're gonna shit yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I like
basically.
that. Squeaky bum time. Okay, good. Yeah, the butt clench moment. Me and Gary, we've had those in the war zone. You and I before. I like that. That's right. Gary, tell me about the padded seats. So I watched the kid, like I say, and it's very cool. He'll go to the padded seats, which are like the luxury sections of a lot of these stadiums. And they have the pregame meals, or at halftime they have that, or maybe they'll meet the coaches or the players before or after the game. Have you ever had the padded seat experience before?
No, because I moved out here to the US. I mean, like at Levi Stadium and stuff like that. I saw Manchester United play Barcelona in an exhibition match a few years ago at Levi Stadium, and we had like a hospitality, like a box, and it was amazing.
That's cool.
But yeah, any of these top clubs that you go to now, like Manchester City or Spurs, especially ones that have the new stadiums, they have like a club level where it's like 5-star restaurants and like they have their own microbrewery there and like artisanal cheeses, and it's all very, very fancy. But for the most part, it's like 90% of the people that go to the match are not sitting in those seats.
Yeah, no, you'll never be there. That's right. What's the dream seat, Gary? I mean, like, be real with me. I know there's a lot of dream seats. Where's your dream seat in the stadium?
I mean, ideally, you'd be in one of the boxes, right? Because those are the best. Those are the best seats.
Okay.
But positionally, ideally as close to the halfway line as possible.
That's where we want to be, halfway line.
Yeah,
okay.
like maybe half the way back. So like far enough back, because again, you know what the best seats are, because look where the directors sit, look where the celebrities sit. Those are by definition the best seats. So like you want to be far enough away from the field that you can see the whole thing, but not so far away that like it looks like ants.
Okay.
Basically.
What about the chants? Do you have some chants that stuck in your mind that have always been with you?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because there's some great ones that I get to hear. What are some of the ones that you remember?
I mean, they change all the time, right? Because so many of them kind of like riff on
The
popular
players.
songs.
Oh, okay.
Some of them are really, really mean.
Okay.
And like some have actually, like you can get banned for singing some of them.
Oh, snap.
Oh my God.
Okay.
So.
Uh-oh, we got a push here.
Oh, great save.
Though. Were you ever in those seats with everybody screaming and shouting? Or is that like a
Basuma's coming on, Højbjerg's coming off. How amazing is it that I can tell you who that player is just by their computer version?
Gary, it is very impressive that you can name these players just by that, when like a lot of it you can barely see and make out, and you're just like, nope, I know who that is right.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, now, is that a whole stadium chanting that, or is that certain sections?
I mean, again, it depends. Like if it's the away section, then yeah, probably the whole away section, because that's only a small corner of the ground.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you can. There's often enough people chanting them that you'll hear it on TV. Like it'll come through.
Yeah.
But like you won't hear it as well when you're actually there. You can really hear it.
Where's the best World Cup?
What do you mean?
Best location. Who brought it?
I mean, like
people, culture, just attendance. What's the best World Cup?
What's interesting is like those two things don't necessarily go together. Like you could make the argument, and many people have, that this most recent one in Qatar was one of the best World Cups, if not the best World Cup in history. That final. Boring first half, but that second half was fucking incredible.
That was crazy, Gary. What a time to be alive.
Absolutely mad. But like, so it was incredible football, and it was all very well produced. But like, it should never have been held in Qatar. It was all a result of FIFA bribes and bullshit, money being passed under the table. There were all kinds of logistical reasons why it should never have been held there. It's too fucking hot. They had to split domestic seasons in half. Usually you play in the off season, but like we had to split the Premier League season in half to go off and the World Cup and then play the second half of the season. Ridiculous, because it's so hot in Qatar. You can only play the World Cup in December there. They had to build all these stadiums that weren't ready, and there was all these migrant labourers that fucking died because they obviously don't give a shit about them. And just the whole kind of sports washing of course. Some of these regimes are very, very dodgy. But they want to legitimize themselves by, spending the billions of dollars that they have to put themselves front and center of these global sports competitions and all the goodwill that they engender. I think Qatar. I think the quality of the football was great, but I felt that hosting it there just kind of put a sour note on everything.
Yeah.
This next one will be interesting, because they're splitting it between USA, Canada, and Mexico.
Yeah, all North America. It's going to be pretty wild, right? I'm excited to see that and to see what fans think of the stadiums that we know, right? Because these are all stadiums that are already here. They're not building
you guys have some amazing stadiums.
Yeah, right.
SoFi, Levi's is a great stadium.
SoFi is going to be unbelievable.
I think they're playing games at Levi's, right?
I believe they have one in San Francisco.
We should try and go see one.
100%. Put your piggy bank on the side and start saving. Right? It's going to be a big deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, are they building any new stadiums for this? Because it's always funny to
I don't think they are.
About the Olympics and stuff like that.
The US is not the kind of country that needs to hurriedly build the infrastructure for it, because they've got amazing stadiums. I don't know what the deal is in Canada and Mexico, but the US would be very surprised if they're building anything.
Big run out here.
Come on.
Easy.
Oh, look at that.
Just
cheeky.
Easy
so
touch.
Cheeky.
That's a worldie.
I love it. And it's James Madison, another one of our star players.
Love that.
See if he does the darts thing. Is he going to do the darts thing?
What would be your celebration if you scored? What would you do? You got to move?
I would love to be able to do the slide, the knee slide.
Okay.
But there's no way. I would pull a muscle.
Oh
doing
shit! Yeah. You don't want to collapse in the middle of a game because you tried to do the knee slide. Is right. The Superman, the rip the chest T-shirt.
That's what he's doing there. Yeah, I
logo.
don't know if he's changed, but he used to. Because James Madison likes to play darts. He used to do like a dart throwing thing.
Shit. Gary, I've gotten into some darts in my day where I've watched a lot of competitive darts. Did you ever get into darts over there? Because I've watched some World Cup darts. It's crazy.
I was never a good darts player, but every Christmas they have the World Championship of darts.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, you wouldn't think it would be exciting to watch.
It's crazy,
but it
Gary.
fucking is.
That shit's crazy.
I love watching professional darts every Christmas because it happens it starts right, I think either right before or right after Christmas. It goes through to the New Year. They have the PDC is the name of the body of like World Championship darts, and I just feast on it.
So
I love it. I love watching.
It's crazy, Gary.
Yeah.
It's crazy to watch that. How about cricket? Did you ever watch cricket growing up?
You know, I played.
Oh no shit!
Yeah.
Really? What did you think of that?
One of the few sports that I wasn't terrible at. I wasn't particularly good at it. I couldn't really bat. I think 22 is the most I ever scored at bat, which is not great.
Okay.
But they liked me and they put me on the team because I'm left-handed.
Oh.
And I'm a slow, but I bowl slow.
Okay.
Which just the fact that I'm left-handed and the way that I would bowl, batsmen would found off-putting. It would throw them off a little bit. And I remember I got a hat trick once. I took 3 wickets in a row.
That's cool, Gary.
Yeah.
Dang, that's wild.
And they
man.
weren't wickets from like getting caught out or anything. They were fucking straight through the stumps.
Wow.
Because I could hit the target.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Method writes in with the Kind of Funny membership. Thank you, Method, for becoming a Kind of Funny member. Says, Gary, do you ever get to watch The Boys? If so, what was the last game you saw live up the
Cockerel
on balls?
So I presume he's talking about Tottenham.
We're talking about the Boys.
Because the Cockerel is our logo.
Have me first. I thought you was talking about watching the Boys.
I haven't seen them play live in many years. I was gutted when I went back to, like I said, went back to England, went to London for Christmas. I know the season's on, 50-50 chance that they'll be playing, right? Because you're either home or away every week.
Of course.
And they were fucking away. So I had to I did the stadium tour instead. 5-2 now. Look at this. Arsenal are getting fucking hammered.
They're putting it on right now. We only got 4 minutes left in the game. How about draws? How do you feel about a draw? As an American sports fan, you don't really get to experience
I know Americans have a hard time getting
what do you
their
think
heads
about
around
the draw?
it. I think if it's a great game of football, the score is sometimes immaterial. If you see like a 10-goal thriller, like five each by the end, I mean, it's amazing. I don't think you need to have like a winner and a loser.
We don't got to end
in order
it with
to have a satisfying.
Penalties.
I mean, you do in tournament football, obviously you do because you have to have a winner. But in league football, that's a uniquely American thing. I think the idea of a draw is like anathema to them because there must be a victor. But no, I don't. Most soccer fans don't think that draws are like unsatisfying.
Okay.
If they're boring, yeah, but you can have a boring win or a boring loss as well.
Yeah. What's your dream car, Gary? It's you, no family. It's just you. Out on the English countryside. It's like Forza Horizon 4. What's the dream car that you're just driving around?
I tell you what, I test drove recently just for fun because I could, and I really loved it. Is the Lamborghini Urus?
Oh yeah,
which is their SUV.
I like those.
Oh my God,
Gary.
what a car!
Damn, that's cool, Gary.
What a car!
Holy
and
shit.
I couldn't possibly like countenance buying one because it's silly money. So it's a year-long waiting list. The only ones you can buy, they're used, right? You have to wait. If you want a new one, you're waiting a year because they don't make that many of them.
That's crazy.
Beautiful, beautiful car. Oh my God. The guy said, take it out I just drove it around, do a test drive around the block. He said, do you want to take it out on the freeway and open it up? And I'm scared to.
Just let it rip.
Everything inside a Lamborghini, even the ones that are made for the American market, is in Italian.
Oh shit!
Right?
Really?
Yeah. So you look at there's got this different speed mode, and it's like I can't remember, like Estrella, which I think means like street. And then there's like Forza, which is like racing mode.
Yeah, that's cool.
Corsa, I think, which is I can't remember. The guy was saying put it in Forza because that's like the fucking like ludicrous mode.
Damn.
And I took it out on the. He had to talk. I'm nervous to do it because you've been driving 20 years, and it'd be fine. But like I drive, a decent car. It's an electric car, but it's, this is a fucking beast.
It's a beast of a car.
I used to put it in Fort. I put it in Fort, so I took it out on the 101 and just fucking floored it. And my goodness,
how cool!
What a
Gary.
vehicle!
How cool, Gary!
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so you like that? The Lamborghini SUV is great.
Strada, that's what it is. Strada means street. I can't remember what Corsa means, but Forza is like put it in Forza because that's the fuck off mode.
You ever get into F1 racing?
No, never. I've never found any.
that?
I've never found any kind of motor racing interesting.
Okay.
I just find it deathly boring to watch. I've never been able to get it to. There was another car I saw recently that was like, oh fuck, that would be the dream car for me.
Oh yeah.
I don't really care about like a sports car.
Okay.
I don't even know how they're made these days, but I think like the top. Someone in chat will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm right in saying that if you drive like the Urus was automatic transmission, right? But if you're buying like one of these elite Ferraris or Paganis or whatever that cost like millions of dollars, that you have to be able to drive those all still have a clutch. I think.
Gotta have it.
That might be wrong. It might be like Triptronic now, where it's kind of like it's still a manual transmission, but it basically does most of it for you. I'm not sure, but like you see it all the time, right? How many times have you seen like, a billionaire bought a fucking McLaren F1 or whatever, wraps it around the tree first day because it's not like you. This is what I knew about the Urus. Is like you go, I know how to drive a car. No, not this one. You fucking don't.
No, you don't. Yeah.
This is not like any car you've driven. These cars are nuts.
Beast.
They handle like completely differently. They respond completely differently. Like I think you shouldn't let. I don't care how long you've been driving. You shouldn't let someone drive off the lot in a fucking, Koenigsegg or a Pagani or a Lamborghini elite sports car unless they've done like
in a goddamn race car,
like a proper like some kind of training or familiarization, because it is not the same as driving a normal car. And this is why you see them. You see the people crashing them all the time.
No Porsche though for you.
Ferraris are all dual clutches. Paganis are manuals or dual clutches. Yeah. And I never learned to drive. A manual.
Really? Oh, okay.
I learned to drive here, where it was just everything's automatic.
How about a motorcycle? You ever driven a motorcycle?
No, never been interested. They used to have this PSA when I was a kid about motorcycle accidents, and it scared the life out of me.
Oh, I bet, huh?
Never wanted to ride a motorcycle.
Okay.
There was another car because I do like cars. I'm into cars. I find them interesting. Oh my God!
His goalkeeper's insane.
Our goalkeeper actually.
This man is fantastic.
Vicario he's a tremendous goalkeeper.
He played great.
Actually, one of our best players.
You know what? He really locked it in that second half. Only let up 2 goals in the first half, but he locked in the second half. He held it down.
He's a
brick wall.
When we lost our. So we used to, our goalkeeper used to be this guy called Hugo Lloris, who was like France's goalkeeper.
Yeah.
One of the top in the world, but he's getting old. He plays in the MLS now. Again, you start to fall off, you go to the MLS. And we're like, oh shit, who are we going to replace him with? And this guy Vicario came in, he's just been absolutely brilliant.
Oh, I love that. I like that, that's right. How long has Gary been in the U.S.? Pokey Batman wants to know.
I can tell you exactly when I moved to the U.S.
Oh, okay.
It was April 4th, 1996. So I've been here for 28 years now.
What was the reason for moving?
It's kind of a long story, but I always wanted to live in America. I always wanted to live in California.
Okay.
The opportunity came up, and I took it. It was originally just meant to be for a year. I would come in and help the U.S. edition of PC Gamer launch for like 1 year.
Wow.
On a temporary visa, but I really liked it. Stuck around. 1 year turned into 2, into 3, and next thing you know, I got my green card, and then eventually my citizenship. It's funny. There were a few people. The last video that I was on. Remember when I was in here and I did like a whole day of stuff?
I remember that. Yeah.
I was wearing a Kamala Harris T-shirt.
Yes.
And there were some people in the chat that didn't like it.
No shit.
Or any time that I talk about politics or anything, there was one guy in the chat the other week saying, "What is Gary? Why is Gary mouthing off about American politics? He's not even American." I'm like, what? Yes, I fucking am.
Look how long I've been here. That's right.
Dickhead. I'm a naturalized American citizen, and I vote.
Been here longer than a lot of people.
You could argue that I'm more American than the fucking guy complaining, because I think if he's a natural-born American citizen, nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But basically, you just lucked into it, right? You just fucking fell out of your mother, And you looked
You're
around and went, oh,
fucking
great,
here.
I'm American, fucking great. What a nice treat. You didn't have to do anything for it. I lived here for 20 years. I paid my taxes. I did everything right. I studied. I passed the exam. I did all the things I needed to do. I fucking earned it. It wasn't just given to me on a silver platter at birth.
Come on now.
So fuck you.
Electric Greg Tar says, Gary, I miss your streams. I'll never forget the time you jumped over a fall guy at the finish line and, crazy and yelled, "That's how it's done."
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, Fall Guys.
I still have that clip. I still have that clip on my YouTube channel.
Oh, Gary, the best, man. So much fun. Gary, Chad, it's been nice spending some time with you here on the couch, having a little mini Xcast reunion with the two gaming dads.
Yeah, it was
just
good.
chopping it up, playing some sports in the background, just talking.
Yeah, what a great result for Tottenham. I was worried about this game.
And away, too?
5-2. I mean, honestly, it would take that all day. At the Emirates, fucking yes.
How long is the trip back home now? Is this a bus ride or is this a flight?
What do you mean?
If we played in Arsenal, to go back home, what's the distance?
Like, if I'm a Spurs fan going to see Arsenal.
Yeah, or if we're Spurs players.
Yeah.
What's the trip back look like?
Oh, I
Is it a
mean,
bus ride or is it a plane ride?
yeah. I mean, they always get on a bus, but they're both.
That's how close it is.
No, that's
Okay.
why they're rivals, because they're local. They're both North London teams.
Oh shit, that's
so Spurs and so where White Hart Lane is, or Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and Emirates are. And the Emirates is also built on the old Arsenal stadium. It's like close to it. But they took the old Highbury and turned it into like housing. Apparently it's very nice what they did.
Okay.
But they're 15 minutes from one another.
Oh, that's easy.
Liverpool and Everton are really, really fucking close. They're like,
Really?
I mean, it's like maybe a 5-minute walk from one to the other.
Oh, that's so cool.
Really close.
Could you catch a doubleheader if those two teams are playing separate teams, both at home? Maybe one's happening in the afternoon, then we play one at night. That ever happen?
Yeah, I guess
that would be a wicked day.
Theoretically, I don't think so though, because the evening games are usually played on a separate day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or there could be like the early kickoff. Manchester City could be playing some in the early kickoff, and then 3:00 kickoff for United.
Oh,
it's more likely you could do it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Gary, tell the people something nice as I get ready to turn this stream off. Tell them something good.
Geez, I don't know. You catch me. You catch me at a very, very cynical time in my life. I've had a terrible year so far. Just that's really annoying, frustrating year. You'll like this. I did a podcast last week. I think it drops tomorrow.
Okay.
Called "Screaming into the Hollywood Abyss." And,
okay.
There's many Hollywood podcasts out there, but this one is specifically for people that want to come on and gripe about how much Hollywood sucks and talk about failure and rejection and like why Hollywood isn't as glamorous or as fun as you think it is.
Yeah.
It's actually a load of shit. I went on there and I said, how do you, because it all happened last minute. I didn't get a chance to listen to any of the prior episodes. How hard do you want to go? Because I've got plenty to complain about. And they were like, oh, we've heard it all. Don't worry about that. An hour later, because I could see them on Zoom, these two fucking guys were traumatized.
No shit.
Because they got it with both barrels.
Oh shit, Gary.
So
you gave it to
if
them.
you really want to hear me fucking bellyache, later this week, find this podcast called "Screaming into the Hollywood Abyss." They caught me at just the right fucking time.
I like that, Gary.
Yeah.
All right. Say goodbye to the people. Let's get out of here.
Bye. I don't even know where the camera is.